Hey, what's poppin', boys? What's poppin'? I see you boys already chopping it up in the chat. I absolutely love to see it. And shout out to everybody tuning in tonight. We do got one of the better streams of recent memory going down tonight, for damn sure. We got one of the better streams of recent memory going down tonight. So everybody tuning in. I mean, I don't ever say this, but tonight you're welcome. Tonight you're welcome. Because we bring in the juice tonight. We bring in all the stories tonight. Can't no one do it like we do over here. All right, can't no one. And if you're just tuning in and you clicked because of the thumbnail, what's poppin', Jew? And what's poppin', Meat Rocket, Dun Daughter, America First, Perfecto first in the chat. Shout out Perfecto for being the first one in the chat today. If you guys are clicking in because of the thumbnail, well, you know, essentially, UFC White House could be cooked, boys. And it's right here. Now, kind of crazy. Kind of crazy. I do have some theories, a bit of conspiracy theories I want to get off my chest, but well, I guess I'll leave it as a cliffhanger, and I'm sure most of you guys in here are pretty woke. So when I leave this cliffhanger, you're going to be like, "Oh, I know what he's going to say probably." And it's not a fully thought out, opinion, but it's kind of, me piecing things together. And so basically, let's address the elephant in the room. Yes, UFC White House is not permitted. The UFC is going to be bypassing sanctioning for the event with a clause that it's taking place on, like, what's the word that they used? Federal land. So it says Chair of DC Sports Commission Andrew Huff is refusing to acknowledge UFC White House as a sanctioned event after UFC officials signaled they won't obtain a $100 permit because the event is taking place on federal land. He also states that the bouts won't count toward the fighters' official records. So essentially, this is why UFC White House is up in the air again. This is why it's fucked. What up, Space Kid? Good to see you in here, homie. This is why it's fucked, though. And I mean, we've had HT, loyal member of the chat, of the streets, HT, probably one of the top soldiers. All right, HT been I mean, pretty much everybody who tunes in every night is a top soldier. But HT definitely a top soldier, and HT has been saying UFC White House isn't going to go down. Kind of interesting that HT's been saying that super confidently, and now, more things are coming out. And the cliffhanger I was referring to earlier is no permit. The bouts won't count towards the fighter's official records, allegedly. Not a sanctioned event. Could this be why Dana White is giving out 80,000+ free tickets? Could this potentially be why? There's always a reason behind Dana's, madness, so to speak. People want to know why he's getting into boxing. I've told you guys why he's getting into boxing. He's tired of his UFC fighters leaving the sport to go over to boxing. Dana White is going to bring his model into boxing, and he's essentially trying to ruin boxing. He's trying to make boxing no better than the UFC so that his fighters stop leaving. That's what he's trying to do, in my opinion. And why do I say that? Because of the changes he made to the Muhammad Ali Act. That's why I say that. Now, we're not going to get into that whole thing, but I'm just using that as a point of saying that when Dana White does one thing, a lot of times behind the scenes, there's a lot more reasons behind his actions. There's a lot more of a method to his madness. At face value, you're going to think, oh, he just wants to go into boxing. He's always loved boxing. Really? Really? Okay. Yeah, he just loves boxing, right? He always loved boxing. That's why he wants to do it. Okay. But anyway, let's stay on topic with this one. That's why I'm proposing the question, giving away 80,000+ free tickets, and it turns out this is an unsanctioned event. They won't even go through the DC Sports Commission. They're quite literally bypassing the DC Sports Commission. So that's the big story of the day. And there is there's a whole article that we'll be reading about this, so I'll kind of inform you guys, but some of the cliff notes of that article is sorry, I'm trying to connect to the internet on my TV here. Some of the stuff pertaining to that article is like in the past, the UFC, they've done 2 events in Washington. Both have been permitted. My question, though, and it's not like they answered it in the article that they wrote, but my question would be, okay, the first 2 events were permitted, but were they taking place on federal land? You know, because if it didn't take place on federal land, then why are you even telling us that they got permits for the first 2? Right? It's a different circumstance. And then you got Dylan Rush. Shout out to Dylan Rush. He been following for a long time. He's I don't know if he's still Henry Cejudo's video editor, but I do know Dylan Rush personally. We've met in person as well. He's one of the media guys, so to speak. He likes to cover the sport. So, but I don't know if he does media anymore because, like I said, he's like he turned into Henry Cejudo's video editor. So I'm not sure what Dylan's up to, but shout out to Dylan for commenting. And Dylan said, pretty sure it's within the United States government's power to get this overturned. So we'll see what can happen here because DC, right, they're not going to acknowledge the event as a sanctioned, they're not going to acknowledge UFC White House as a sanctioned event. But can the UFC get the US government to overturn it? I mean, I don't have the first clue whether or not they can or can't do that. But I would assume that they can do something like that. I would assume that they probably can do something like that. And so that's what I'll say about UFC White House for now. We will read the whole article, but I do have a couple excerpts here for us to take a look at. This is the main stuff, the main takeaways. So stay tuned. We're going to get into this story. But in other news, I have reviewed the footage. Well, actually, you know what? Let me keep it a buck. I actually wanted to review the footage of Blueface's fight. Haven't rewatched Blueface's fight, but I have rewatched Super Hot Fire and Gypsy Crusader, and I got some things to say about that bout. Last night I didn't exactly see it for Super Hot Fire. Today I rewatched it, and I told you guys I'm never biased, and even if I am wrong, I'm not gonna like make myself look like a clown to prove a point right that I now see as wrong. So with that being said, I was pretty convinced Gypsy Crusader won last night, but on second watch, Super Hot Fire could have definitely won that fight. On second watch, he could have definitely won that fight. But the problem with Super Hot Fire is that he was falling around all night in the ring. I mean, second and third round, he fell a combined 3 times. He was doing some bullshit where he's putting his hands on his knees. It looked like he was trying to walk out of the ring at one point in time. And it's like, these are the things that are going to make you lose a fight. The optics. The other thing that didn't really play into Super Hot Fire's favor, I guess you could say, is constantly backing up the whole time. Gypsy Crusader was walking him down and he was landing. He was swinging and missing quite a bit. I will give Super Hot Fire that, but the optics didn't look too good. Falling down, putting hands on the knees, essentially looking like he was trying to walk out of the fucking ring at one point in time. Only body shots, barely any headshots until the third round. So, I think Super Hot Fire, he lost that fight for himself by doing a lot of those antics. If he didn't do a lot of those antics, he could have potentially won that fight. And, if the judges did give it to him, I wouldn't have been super mad. He for sure won the third round, and there's an argument for him winning the first round as well. The second round, I did give that one to Gypsy Crusader. But Gypsy Crusader is fucking ass, and I saw some of the clips of him being extremely racist, and I'm just going to tell you guys right now, like, I don't fuck with that. I do not fuck with that extreme racism. I know a lot of people think it's cool and funny and edgy, and, that's why I'm sure he got a lot of views, right? If you guys watch South Park, homie trying to get his nut, right? He got the nut to meet at the end of every month. He got to pay the YouTube and the Netflix and the fucking all his little subscriptions. Paramount, he got to meet his nut at the end of the month. That's why he be saying crazy shit like the hard R. The hard R coming from Gypsy Crusader is insane, and that should be condemned. Just saying. I'm just saying. Tyler Betts says Super Hot Fire kept hugging and holding. That's why he got shoved. He got outboxed. Yeah. It was a close one. That's what I'm going to say. I already said my take. Tyler Betts gave his take, but it was a close one. First round, it could go either way. It really could go either way. You could see it for both guys. Third round, I gave it to Super Hot Fire. Second round, I gave it to Gypsy Crusader. So it really comes down to the first. Who you want to score the first for. It was closer than you might have, seen at the moment in time if you go back and rewatch it. Because I will say this, although this is why boxing is so hard to kind of referee sometimes, and if you are new to the sport, there's a lot of things you're going to overlook. Shout out to everybody liking that South Park reference. You guys know that the one where I think Cartman is trying to be like Charlie Kirk, and then they're asking him, why you be saying edgy stuff? And he's like, well, I got to meet my nut at the end of every month. So shout out to South Park. Shout out to Cartman. Shout out to Charlie Kirk. We are Charlie Kirk. But let me try to get back on topic. We're fucked. We're fucked. Oh, I was going to say this. The reason why boxing can be hard to score is because, there's one thing in boxing that people often overlook, and that is, right, the how do you say this? Winning in retreat in boxing. It is something you could do. You can win in retreat in boxing, right? If you're moving back the whole time, it's not necessarily meaning you're taking an L. A lot of guys have won fights by moving backwards. All right. But I do think that people chalk that up instantly to like, oh, Super Hot Fire was moving backwards, and so he definitely lost. And I might have fallen victim when I was watching it live last night, but I rewatched it with a closer eye today. And, Super Hot Fire, he was backing up a lot in that first round, but he was connecting a lot. He was slipping a lot, and you do need to give credit to that. You do need to give credit to that. So I would say that was one of the X factors in the first round is Super Hot Fire backing up. But that's boxing. Right, boxing is using ring generalship, the entire ring, moving around. That is boxing. You pull a guy into the punches, you slip it, you counter, right, slip and rip, so to speak. That's real boxing. If you don't like that, then there is a fight that now you guys who are really hardcore in boxing, you will be like, oh damn, Castro do be tapped in. If you're not, no worries. I stay tapped in for you. But I think it was it Jermal? No, he's undefeated. Was it Jermel? I don't think it was either Charlo brother, as a matter of fact. Hang on one second. There was somebody. Damn, all that I just said, and then I'm gonna forget the name. And you can't even look them up on here. BoxRec be tripping like that. Hold up. If I can't provide this, I'm going to move on to speaking about the Blueface fight, but I'm going to try to provide this for you guys. Oh, it is Jermel, I believe. It is Jermel. Tony Harrison. This fight where Jermel lost to Tony Harrison, he walked him down the entire time. Tony Harrison beat him unanimously because he backed up, used ring generalship, slipped and ripped punches all night long, and it was a very close fight. But Tony Harrison got the nod here. So this is just an example. If you go back and watch Jermel Charlo versus Tony Harrison 1, you will see Tony Harrison backed up the entire time. You might even be like, damn, did he really beat him? Shit, that's boxing though. And a lot of people overlook that in boxing. So I think that got overlooked for Super Hot Fire in the first round. And that's why I say, it was a close round. It could have gone either way. But nobody should be mad. Nobody should be mad whatsoever. Meat Rocket says Paramount pulled that Kirk South Park episode. Honestly, I was watching that today on Paramount, so I guess they didn't. John Dong says, stopped watching South Park in 2020. Are the newer seasons good? Yeah, they're super good. They're super good. It's hard for me to watch anything, but I've been tapped into that. For sure been tapped in. America First says, USA beat Dominican Republic LFG. I'll tell you the name of that episode. The Charlie Kirk episode is gold, bro. You know what? Let's just stay on topic. Let's just see here. I think it's season 27, episode 3. Oh, no, it might be episode... Oh, Got a Nut. Got a Nut. Season 27, episode 2. Got a Nut. That's an extremely good episode. Also, the first episode was good too. Sermon on the Mount. That was a good one too. Okay. Back to it. And then Blueface. Blueface losing to Shibu. I don't got much to say about it. I do think Shibu beat Blueface. At when I watched it live, I told you guys I was trying to watch it before I went live today. I just ran out of time. The reason why I ran out of time is because I was doing some deep dives on the Clarissa Shields topic with the and that is in the headline too. So we're moving on to the next topic. Clarissa Shields is what we'll also be talking about today. We'll be doing a full deep dive on that. So anybody who's been wondering, I'm sure a lot of you guys are wondering about that. What's going on with Clarissa, 50 Cent, Papoose, this guy Maserati, Bud. I mean, shit, I got it all for you boys. So stay tapped in. But essentially, let's just pull up Clarissa Shields because I do like the topics to be on screen while I discuss them. And I don't know why exactly, I just think it's more aesthetically pleasing, to be honest with you. All right, shout out my queen, Clarissa. All right, shout out my queen, Clarissa. I got mixed feelings about Clarissa. Sometimes I like her, sometimes I don't. But right now I like her. Oh, let me get this motherfucking headphone out. All right. So here's the story. Clarissa, her boyfriend, right, rapper Papoose, he be beefing with 50 Cent. He just dropped a diss track on 50 Cent, and 50 responded by accusing Clarissa of cheating on her mans with Maserati Bud. Now, who the fuck is Maserati Bud? I have no clue, but he seems like a complete goofball. Maserati Bud seems like a complete goofball that no one needs to be worried about. He just a clout chaser. He essentially be, popping up everywhere Clarissa Shields is, filming her, look who I'm with, posting it on my story, blah, blah, blah. To be honest with you guys, without giving you any context really, it seems like Maserati Bud is a spy that's been planted in her camp, so to speak, by 50 Cent due to the beef with Papoose. Call me crazy. I know I really be just like putting things together in the most crazy ways where you're just like, dude, how the hell? But that's what I think. I think that 50 Cent put this guy as a spy to come and infiltrate, Clarissa Shields' camp and get dirt on her and Papoose to ruin that relationship just in case, Papoose dropped the diss track, which he just did, and then 50 Cent responded accordingly. And, I guess if you think I am crazy for a take like that, we're talking about 50 Cent. So we're not talking about anybody here. We're talking about 50 Cent, the most petty guy in the world. Okay, so if anybody was a level of pettiness to, plant a spy into their enemy's girlfriend's camp, it would be 50 Cent. Shout out to Jim Lotus in the chat. Good to see you, homie. Good to see you in here. So, that is kind of the stories for the day, but in case I missed anything, we will also talk about UFC Vegas 114 if we got some time. That'll just be more of a recap though. And then brand risk as well. We'll kind of go over a recap of that one. Just a quick recap. And then like I said, UFC White House is fucked. Clarissa Shields speaks on Papoose cheating allegations. And Blueface robbed, ? Now, the Blueface robbed, I was kind of needing a third little title. So, without further ado, let's start getting into the stories. And let's go with the biggest one first. Let's go with Daddy Dana. Actually, I know that I teased this one. I'm sorry. I know that I teased this one, but there is some things I want to get off my chest about UFC Vegas last night. UFC Vegas 114. So I do just want to get this stuff off my chest. Let me just get some stuff off my chest about UFC Vegas 114. Not going to be anything insane, but I do need to kind of recap the card, let you guys know where everybody stands. All right, how we're viewing these guys moving forward. Before we officially get into these topics, I have not said this yet. Like the stream. We want 25 likes on the evening. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. Okay, live every day for 90 days. And we on the third week. Okay, we like halfway through the third week. It's 3 weeks on Tuesday or Wednesday. So we cooking and we don't get burnt out. We don't even know what the fuck that is. So everybody, one more time, like the stream, subscribe if you're not subscribed. Meat Rocket's asking, I might have been Comedy Central who pulled the Kirk episode. It was right after he got killed. They pulled it. I saw a bunch of articles about it online. Yeah, I did hear about that too, but it was on Paramount. Do you watch PFL or other organizations? Asking Meat Rocket. I do watch PFL. I mean, we watched Brand Risk last night. I watch a lot of boxing. But I'm not just going to watch it and be a mindless consumer. If there's no storyline, if there's just two guys fighting, shit, can't be bothered with it. But if there's a storyline, then I will be bothered with it. The other thing, too, is just, I don't know. Will I be watching Fabian Edwards and Impa Kasanganai? Probably not. And I did like Impa for a while, but it's just like, if I start to recognize that you don't even care about getting promoted, then okay, goodbye. And I tried to promote Impa, and he didn't want to be promoted. So, okay, let other people pay attention. AKA nobody. Clarissa comes off as cringe as fuck all the time, says Meat Rocket. Well, I understand what you're saying. America First says Clarissa calling out Layla Ali is ridiculous. Just shows you how much she knows who the real Guo is, not her. Emmett became a gatekeeper last night. America First says it's okay to be confident of your skill but not arrogant. Topuria is confident but doesn't come across as arrogant like Clarissa. Well, I mean, Clarissa said she can knock out Rolly, and it's like, Clarissa, what the fuck are you on, girl? Like, what the hell are you on, girl? Never in your wildest dreams could you knock out Rolly. Like, what the hell are you on? What up, Tony Sal? Good to see you in here. Any of the other membies? Okay, Tyler Betts saying Super Hot Fire kept hugging. Okay, I read that one already. Space Kid saying what up. Chat a bit quiet. So chat, start keep it a buck, Impa. Shit. Impa did me. Impa never did me dirty. He never did me dirty. I just, he didn't meet my expectations. Impa, we had our first interview, and I'm just gonna say this. Me and Impa, we did our first interview, and then he did not turn out to be who he claimed he was in that first interview. With a lot of things. I don't want to get into it, but he made it seem like he was really friendly and down to continue doing interviews, and then yeah, it's just like, I could just tell he didn't want to do it. I could just tell he didn't like the attention. And I'm just like, okay, am I doing something wrong here? Am I annoying you, homie? Okay, let me leave you alone, homie. Let me just leave your ass alone. You seem not to like, getting praised by me. So, okay, let's get into the card. Juice says, I think Buck should collab with Diamond Jim. That would be solid, Jew. That would be solid, but this is my one thing about Diamond Jim is like, bro, if you're actually an athlete and you care about your well-being, I would not go to Diamond Jim. But that's funny that you brought that up, because I've been seeing a lot of clips today of streamers and people kind of, running into these guys from Diamond Gym. And Diamond Gym is super welcoming and like very friendly. And they're like, yeah, bro, come by at 8 p.m. We're always there. Come pop in, do a workout. We've seen all the content creators go in there. I think content creators should go do it more. They don't really have a event to prepare for. Even if you were like a bodybuilder, I wouldn't go there. You're going to get injured, bro. These guys are making you do like burpees and push-ups and like, bro, like what, like I told you guys last night, I was on stream last night, I was doing push-ups and I'm like, yo, my shoulder a little bit turfed right now. Imagine if I had Unk from Diamond Gym telling me I got to do another 50 or I got to do like 100 more burpees or run like 10 laps up the hill. It's like, Unk, my shoulder's turfed. But he ain't trying to hear that. I am just addressing some of the chats real quick before we get into these stories. So sorry for the disorganization, but whatever. Tyler Bet says she can't even knock out retired old ladies she fights. Yeah, I honestly don't even really pay attention to her shit. America First says, check out my link, Brandon, if I found your man crush, twin. Juice says, outside of camp, he should be straight. There you go. Yeah. I mean, yeah, if he went to Diamond Gym after his fight with Usman, he would have been straight for sure. And, Buck gets big. He gets above 210. That's what I'm going to say. He gets above 210. So that would be dope. So America First just sent me a video of a soldier saying, if you don't like the USA, then get the fuck out. I love this country, bitch. All right. Space Kid says, Charlie Kirk, WTF. I know we've been talking about Charlie Kirk, but I don't know what you're referring to, Space Kid. Pulling down the episode, or how do you think Mosar versus Murphy goes? Who wins? Well, I'm just going to rock with Murphy off of pure bias, off of pure hatred for Movsar Evloev and his inactivity. Is that fair enough, Meat Rocket? Can I just be completely honest about that? I'm a hate watch that one, hoping Movsar loses. I'm not the biggest Lerone Murphy supporter, but I fuck with the guy. I do fuck with the guy. It's kind of funny. I'm not the biggest Lerone Murphy supporter. I'm actually quite a critic of him. But I'm a critic of him because I actually fuck with him. I criticize him not maximizing his spotlight. That's what I criticize when it comes to Lerone. And it makes it seem like I don't like him, but I actually do. And the constructive criticism I give him, I wouldn't give him the juice. I would not give him the juice if I didn't like him. So like, we rocking with Lerone, not to be mistaken for Lerone. Okay, this week, I don't want to hear nobody mistaking Lerone's name for Lerone. Shit, I made that mistake for all of you boys so that you don't have to. Okay, never forget when I called Lerone to start off the interview, and he made me, re-record that. He made me re-record the intro. Let's get into it, boys. Let's get into it. All right. I'm in a good mood today. So I just be chopping it up with you. Okay, so Eric Anders, Brad Tavares, didn't watch it, but I just wanted to say, happy retirement, Eric Anders. Gotta think that it's coming sometime soon for Brad Tavares, no? Brad Tavares' days are numbered? Okay. Shout out to Brad Tavares, though. He is one of the top Hawaiian fighters of all time, and he received very little love to this point, and I doubt he's going to get that love now. But 16-12 in the UFC. To be honest with you, the Hawaiian UFC fighters do not have a very good track record. It's pretty much, Max Holloway, BJ Penn, and then it straight falls off a cliff. If you're talking about Kendall Grove, if you're talking about Yancy Medeiros, who I love, who I know personally, it's just no. UFC has had a very poor representation over the years, aside from Max Holloway and BJ Penn. And Brad Tavares being in here for as long as he has been, for 16 years, 2010 to 2026, having a positive record, 16-12, is pretty good. Now, 14 decision wins is crazy. Homie couldn't finish a dude if he tried. 2 knockouts in 16 years. I mean, insane, but whatever. Shout out to Brad Tavares. We'll see what's going to happen with Brad, but he is a top Hawaiian fighter of all time. You know, he's one of, I would say he might be arguably top 3. I can't think of a Hawaiian fighter better than Brad Tavares. Would you say Dan Ige? Would we say Dan Ige? Let's compare their track records. Dan Ige 11-10 in the UFC, been in here since 2018. So he got a worser percentage record, and he been in here for less. The only thing he got on him is, you know, he got 4 more finishes than Tavares with less fights. Got to get the re-record, LOL. Franklin, homie was like, I'm like, all right, so today I'm joined by Lerone Murphy. And then I'm like, you know, how you doing, Lerone? Or however the fuck I ended that sentence. And then Lerone's like, oh, man, it's not Lerone, it's Lerone. And I'm like, oh, my bad, bro, my bad. I'll get it right moving forward. And then, like, he, like, paused. And I'm like, you want me to re-record that or what? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, oh, okay. Like, all right. I'll re-record it. I felt so bad when I did that shit. I didn't even mean to. It's the fact that we were in the interview and I was trying to hype up his name. You feel me? And I just like exaggerated the E. I gave him a hard E. You know, I gave him, instead of a soft E, I hit him with the hard E and he didn't like it. But it was more so me just trying to emphasize his name, and then it just came out that way. I didn't even ever think his name was Lerone. I mean, are you kidding me? That's like me saying, Tyron Woodley's name is Tyrone, you know? It was like accidental. I know Tyron Woodley's name isn't Tyrone, but I might have said it like that while I was doing the intro, trying to like pronunciate my letters like that. So whatever. Back to the topic. Back to this fight card. Manuel Souza. Oh my gosh. Just the worst names you could have ever given 2 human beings in your life. Manuel Souza and Bolaji Oki. Manuel, I'm calling him Manuel from now on, with a beautiful knockout in the 3rd round. For people who didn't watch this fight, or people who did watch this fight, you know, this is what I got to say about it. Manuel, in my opinion, dropped the first 2 rounds. I thought, oh my gosh, bro, this name sucks. I thought Bolaji Oki. Okay, I thought he won the first 2 rounds. I thought that Manuel Souza needed a finish in that 3rd. And I called it. He got that finish in that 3rd. What was kind of crazy to me, though, is when they showed the live odds in that 3rd round, Polymarket had Manuel Souza as a massive favorite. And I found that kind of odd, because if he didn't get the finish, I thought he was dropping that decision. But homie straight, you know, found that finish in that 3rd. And we all saw it coming. If you were watching the live stream last evening, we saw it coming. I told you guys, I was like, bro, just got to keep doing what he's doing. I got no more constructive criticism for him in this 3rd round. I said he needs a finish, and here he is. He getting that finish. He putting the, you know, pedal to the metal, essentially. Homie, like, charged up this punch. Homie got Oki Bolaji in that 3rd round, right? In the last minute, right? 14 minutes, 12 seconds is where he knocked out Oki Bolaji. Okay, out of a 15-minute fight. In that last minute, he charged up that punch. And I'm on the opposite stance. It was actually orthodox. But he charged up that punch. He held the glove, shuffle forward, boom. Bolaji had 2 options. Go out on your back or your face. Homie went out on his back with his neck kinked up against that cage. So, congratulations to Manuel Souza. However the fuck you say that name, homie. Just put a U in there instead of the O. You working for a U.S. company now? Change the name. We're calling you Manuel. Oki Bolaji, I mean, it sounds better to say the last name before the first. In my opinion. It's like that Korean shit, you know? Or the Chinese fighters, where, like, you know, you say their last name first, whatever the case. So, congratulations, Manuel. Do I know what to do with you next? No. You know, you're very green in your career, so whatever the UFC gives you, you know, good on them. But you were a minus 300 favorite, and you dropped the first 2 rounds against Bolaji. Elijah Smith, Su Young Yu. This is one of the more high-talented, elite-level fights that we had on the card, right? This is it right here. This is what I'm talking about. This is what I love to see. And what's up to everybody? I'm on my tangents right now, so shout out to everybody in the chat. Louis Smoka. Damn, Tony South. Another, honestly, Tony South, another Hawaiian disappointment. You know, let's not even mention Russell Doan. All right. I know all the Hawaiian fighters. Let's not even mention Russell Doan. Let's not even mention Martin the Spartan Sano, my very first interview of all time. Not, oh my God. I just said Martin the Spartan Sano. No. Martin Day. Martin Day, also a Hawaiian fighter, right? Horrible shit record. I'm telling you guys. You know, the Hawaiians have not had good representation. But shout out to Tony Sal. I want everybody dropping, you know, thoughts in the chat as I'm speaking about these things, like Tony Sal's doing, like Franklin's doing. All right. So even if I'm not responding to everything in the chat, doesn't mean just don't say shit in there. I want to see what you guys got to say. I'm reading it periodically. Tuxedo Mask, buyer seller, welcome in, homies. Good to see you guys in here. Okay, so back where I left off, you know, Elijah Smith versus Su Young Yu, one of the more high-level, talented prospect fights on the card. Great fighting, guys in the correct weight class, right? Beautiful skills being displayed. Beautiful skills being displayed. Su Young Yu hitting some nice takedowns on Elijah in the first round. Elijah fighting back, not getting discouraged. Short-term memory. Firing in that second round and getting that finish quick. Getting him up out of there quick. Okay, homie drops his ass and then jumps on him with a submission. That's what I was saying. We're going to talk about Jose Delgado later in this, you know, breakdown right here. But Jose Miguel Delgado, you know, take a page out of Elijah Smith's book, bro. You need to take a page out of Elijah Smith's book. When you guys hurt your opponents and you drop them, you need to go submission. And if you're too scared to go submission because you're going to gas out, right, if you don't get it, then there's something wrong in your training. You need to fix that. That in itself you need to fix. I just saw a clip today of Ilia Topuria failing on multiple submission attempts against Yusuf Zalal, and he still beat him. Okay, if you don't have the stamina to go for chokes as a MMA fighter in the highest level, you suck, my friend. And that's no shade to Jose Miguel Delgado. I know I just kind of said he should be doing that. Sorry about that. But I'm just saying. And I'm just going to leave that as it is. So congratulations to Elijah Smith. You know, let's not rush him up there too soon. He a young prospect. Let's take care of him. Su Young Yu. You know, back to the drawing board. You got a tough prospect in your UFC debut. I think he debuted, right? He debuted. I think no. He's 3-1 in the UFC. My bad. But back to the drawing board for homie. Back to the drawing board. He should be fine though. You know, these fights where you fight a good prospect early on, you know, you should be fine. But he's 30. He's 30. Elijah's 23. Okay, so keep an eye on Elijah. We may have seen the end of Su Young Yu. He may fall off a cliff. He's 30. I wasn't aware of that. But keep an eye on Elijah. But, you know, whatever Su Young Yu displayed in there, especially for a Korean fighter, because Koreans also don't have the best track record in the UFC. And they don't have very good grappling, point blank period. Japanese fighters have good grappling, but Korean fighters don't. And, you know, so shout out to Su Young Yu for doing, you know, for showing off his grappling, even though he lost. You know, I was impressed with his performance. He showed good skill set in there. Yes, he got dropped and subbed. It's a part of the game. I'd like to see what he can continue to show in the UFC. 30 years old is still fairly young, but you don't got time for speed bumps no more. You know, you can't be dropping these fights against Elijah like that anymore. So that's what I got to say about that fight. Vitor Petrino, Steven Asplund. I'm afraid, guys, it just needs to be said. I know Steven Asplund is a cool guy. He's a nice guy, but just don't get too emotionally attached to him because he will be gone very soon. Okay, it's only a matter of time till Steven Asplund falls off a cliff. The longer it takes for him to get ranked, the better, because as soon as he gets ranked, just it's over with for him. It's over with. So the longer it takes for him to get ranked, the better. Vitor Petrino got the win. This was a pretty good fight. Pretty good fight, honestly. I'm not going to hate on this fight. Steven Asplund, he does bring it. He fights well. You know, he's an exciting fighter. You know, he's a scrapper. Vitor Petrino, you know, it was a scrap. It just sucks for Steve Asplund. It's tough out here in these streets for Steven Asplund, and it's just a fact. Now, Chris was, he coped after the fight. Chris definitely coped after the loss, and it's worth pulling up. It is definitely worth pulling up. It's just, Chris Curtis, a pure and utter disappointment to me. Losing to Mitabek Orobai like that. Looks like we don't got it. What's Chris's name on X? Action Man? Is it me or like I just don't know how to use X? Like, what is the deal? Why is X's search so complicated? I'd love for someone to explain to me why I can't look up a simple account in Chris Curtis. Here it is, though. Motherfucker. Chris Curtis coping after the loss. He goes, well, that was as fun as a wet fart in church. Sorry, guys. Physical therapy went well. My knee held up. I had a great camp. No excuses. Just a shit night and a shit fight. Man had really good grip strength, and it's incredibly hard to fight a man that has no intention of being in a fight. Got some thinking to do and some stuff to figure out, but I walked out with no physical damage at all. Just my pride really hurt. Thanks for the love and support. We'll see where we go from here. Not dead yet. So, yes, Chris Curtis got absolutely grapple fucked by Mitabek Orobai for all 15 minutes. And, you know, I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it, and it pisses me off, and I'm actually getting pissed just thinking about it. You can hear it in my voice, how much this shit pisses me off. You can hear it in my voice how much this shit pisses me off. And I've been on a rant. I've been going off on things, and I've been saying this stuff about takedown defense. So let's address the takedown defense once and for all. Okay, because there is a great wrestler in the UFC still, and his name, he goes by Kamaru Usman. All right, and I just want to show you guys. Something, because I talk a lot of shit. And it's rightfully so. It's for good reason. Okay, I told you guys already. The single leg defense is you get your foot to the outside of the thigh. If you're not doing that, then fuck you. Get the fuck out of the octagon. You do not belong in here. Okay, now let's see one of the welterweight goats doing what I told him, what I say should be done. And this is not high level shit. This is freshman fucking wrestling shit. All right, freshman wrestling. 16-year-olds, 14-year-olds, 13-year-olds are doing this shit in wrestling rooms across the US in high school right now. Okay, but UFC fighters can't seem to do the shit. And if you get taken down, you get taken down, but you at least need to deploy proper defense. Let's look at this. Hamzat comes in, he shoots on Usman. Let's see Usman execute a sprawl, okay? Boom, sprawl. Boom, sprawl. Okay, we barely see the shit in the UFC. All these guys not getting their feet back. Okay, all these guys just getting blast doubled and getting taken down off the first attempt. This is one takedown attempt, okay? Usman sprawls, okay? So Hamzat, he goes for a double. Does he go for the double? Let's see. Boom. Goes for the double leg, right? Can't get it. Cannot get it. Then he switches to a single leg because Usman sprawled. Watch what Usman does with the single leg. Freeze. Freeze, motherfuckers. Freeze, motherfuckers. All right. I don't talk out of my ass. I do not talk out of my ass. Look at that foot. That's a single leg. Foot on the outside. Hamzat Chimaev, I'm telling you, this is freshman wrestling shit. Hamzat Chimaev is better than this anyway. He can get past this shit. And look at Franklin. I would love to see Kevin from Chicago in here because Kevin from Chicago really is a wrestler. You know? And it's like, boom. So let me just stay on point here. Usman sprawled off the double leg attempt. Okay? Khamzat is forced to switch to a single leg attempt. Usman defends again, foot on the outside of the thigh. Okay, but it's not going to be perfect because Khamzat's strong as fuck. Usman's fighting up a weight class. Foot on the outside thigh. Okay, Khamzat's still going to muscle through this, but at least Usman forced him to chain wrestle. Do you guys understand now? And he still didn't get it. He still didn't get it, but he eventually does. You know, third attempt. Now he got him down. On the third attempt. And the third attempt was a little foot sweep. Now I'm not going to keep playing this because I'm pretty sure they're going to try to like tell me to stop doing that. You know the editors on here. You guys know how it goes. You can't be showing all that UFC stuff, but it's enough for you. It's enough for you. Okay, so I don't want to hear this shit anymore. And I don't want to see this shit anymore. If you don't get your foot on the outside of the thigh, fuck you. I hate you. Get the fuck out of the octagon. We never want to watch you fight again. You are dog shit and you ignore 50% of the sport. You're probably one of those guys who goes to the gym week after week and never hits leg day. Okay? I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. I don't know whether it's laziness from fighters or what, but it just needed to be pointed out right then and there. Right then and there, it needed to be pointed out. Because, you know, this dude, Chris Curtis, got absolutely grapple fucked last night. Absolutely grapple fucked last night. And now people are saying sneak peek of what's going to happen with Strickland and Curtis. And it's like, or Strickland and, Khamzat. And it's like, yeah, man. Yeah, shit. Maybe. This is the type of shit that they're like, what the fuck is going on in that gym? What the fuck's going on in that gym at Extreme Couture, bro? AD says Blueface lost. Dude was outpunched by Fat Boy. Yeah, I agree, AD. I agree. I kind of told the chat that one with Blueface, I was in need for a third topic. All right, I was in need for a third topic. I just threw that up in there. So forgive me for the engagement farm. Now let's keep working our way down. You know what's funny is we haven't even gotten into the UFC. Yeah, Curtis got grapple fucked in there. Shit, he admitted to it in his tweet. We haven't even gotten to UFC White House being fucked yet, but we will. We will. How's your shoulder, Perry? Oh, thank you for asking, Bloodhound Little Jeff. It's just a bit clicky right now. It's a bit clicky. I be moving it certain ways, and sometimes it kind of gets like it'll pop a little bit. It's nothing too catastrophic. I could probably go. I'm planning on lifting after this actually, and I was running some pull-ups last night, so I think it's fine. But it's just a little tender. I'll probably just go to the gym and do some cardio and sauna tonight. No shoulder. It's just hard, bro. It's hard to like go to the gym and not like, get a good pump going. But shout out Bloodhound Lil Jeff. Thanks for asking again, homie. Okay, so Bruno Silva, Charles Johnson. I have another bookmark for this one. Charles Johnson won. Charles Johnson won, and then he goes on and immediately... I mean, it's shameless. It's shameless. It's actually shameless. It's actually shameless. It's actually shameless. Homie comes on here and he's like, I didn't think I lost any of the rounds. I won every round. It's like, oh my gosh, bro.
I won every round, and it was very weird. I was very confident when I heard 30-27. I thought I won every round, and it was very weird that it was a split because I thought I won every round. He didn't get takedowns. He was pushing me to the cage, but I was negating every takedown, and I was landing elbows and knees in the clinch. My back was against the cage, but he wasn't scoring. So it was weird that they gave him 2 rounds because of that. Honestly, it's whatever the UFC wants. The weight class is on fire. I've knocked out the number 1 and number 6 guy, and I just beat the number 14 guy who allowed Joshua Van to have a number 1 contender spot. So for me, it's just anything can happen. It's all about timing in this weight class. It's all about what becomes available. Everyone's capable of fighting for a championship. So whatever makes sense. If I had it my way, I would have been fighting a top 5 guy a few fights ago, but we are here now. So um, I would love to fight anyone in the top 7, and that would be that'd be a big thing for me. I'd be very excited about that.
Now I don't know who red pilled me on Charles Johnson. In fact, I do know. I do know. I do know who red pilled me on Charles Johnson. And shout out to Soda Pop. Shout out to Soda Pop. I've been red pilled with Charles Johnson, but honestly, you know, he's been rubbing me the wrong way for a long time. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. Can anyone help me out? What is it about Charles Johnson? Let me figure this one out. All I can say about Charles is this, man. Um, let me just try to check myself before we get started. All I could say about Charles is like, I do find it funny how he goes, oh, because, you know, Bruno couldn't get a takedown on me, so to speak. I was defending all of that stuff when I was pushed up against the cage, so I won that round. Like, no, not really. Not really. You don't really win because the other guy can't execute the techniques on you. You're getting pushed up against the cage. He's getting off offense. It might not really effectively take you down, but he's doing and attempting more than you. So, I mean, you can't even attempt offense and you can't win a fight off of defense. So, I don't know why he thinks like that. Meaning, like, anytime he's pushed up against a cage, is he just really thinking, like, I could just kick it here. I could just kick it here up against this cage, defend this takedown for 5 minutes straight, and I'm going to win this round? Like, is that why he showed not that much urgency trying to get off the cage? Like, that's not how it works. You can't just defend a takedown for 5 minutes and win the round because he didn't take you down. That's basically his reasoning. That's essentially his reasoning. He's like, he didn't take me down. I defended all the attempts. I thought I won all 3 rounds. It's like, okay, all right. But, you know, shout out to Charles Johnson. He really wants to be in the top of the division. And I think that's what it is for me that kind of rubs me the wrong way. Is he just exudes it every step of the way, like a dire desire to compete in the top of the division. And I can't put my finger on it exactly, but it comes off, it gives thirsty. It gives thirsty more than like hard to explain, guys, but it gives thirsty. It just gives thirsty. I don't know. I'm trying to find the words right now for it, so forgive me. But it's you know, he thinks he's like the honorary spokesperson for Flyweight. He thinks he's like the governor of Flyweight. Charles Johnson, you know, if you were to ask him, he would say that like he's the governor of Flyweight. He almost, you know, he like a class, yeah. Yeah, he like a class president type of guy. And I'm not really a class president type of guy. But, you know, Charles Johnson, he wants to be the class president of the Flyweight division. You know, he speaks on everybody's wins as if like he's the final say. You know, he's the final boss at Flyweight. You know, somebody gets a win, Charles Johnson's going to weigh in on it. As if anyone's wondering, sitting at home, wondering what Charles Johnson thinks about the fight. And yeah, sometimes it just kind of annoys me. And then, you know, Charles Johnson, like a certain fight gets booked, like Joshua Van got booked against so-and-so. It's like, oh, but, you know, I knocked him out. Like, why not me? She's like, ah, it's a lot of that. It's a lot of that with Charles. When he was losing, I don't know. I'm going to leave Charles alone. I'm going to just leave Charles alone. So moving on. Moving on. I just got to check it though real quick. What was that dude ranked? Bruno Silva, because now he calling for a top 10 opponent. I mean, calling for a top 7 opponent. I think that Charles pays too much attention to the politics, you know, instead of being a dog. Yeah, so he wants 7 because, you know, Perez beat him. Brandon Moreno just lost. So it makes sense why he's like 7 and above. He already sussed it out. You see, though, You see, though, he be sussing it out too much. In my opinion, he be sussing it out too much. Peeps his phone before this. He's like, who's ranked where? Okay, like, I'll call out this guy. It's like, I mean, I guess, bro. But you beat number 15, Bruno Silva, as number 14. You know, why don't you fight Steve Versek? Why don't you fight Tagir? I'll tell you why. Because he cannot get over the fact that Joshua Van is the champion and he knocked him out. That's why he just doesn't see that being, you know, his value. He thinks he's worth way more than that. But it's not about who you knocked out. That's the one thing I think Final Boss is. Charles Johnson acts like he's the final boss at flyweight. That's literally what it is. But Charles, I think that's the one thing I guess I could say is that, bro, just the fact that you knocked out Joshua Van, it doesn't get you everything. And I think that's what he constantly wants to believe. You know, like I've said in the past, does the UFC see value in you being one of their champions? The answer is no. The answer is no. And I think if he would stop focusing so much on his knockouts and his wins and focused a little bit on trying to be, you know, somebody the UFC wants to put in position to be their champion, then okay. Then okay. That's why, you know, I'm going to talk about Joaquin because he's the guy I interview and I know the best. But that's why Joaquin, he's already sussed that out. And he goes, that's why I'm trying to bring the black fan base into the UFC because that is a gap. That is something we don't have. And that is something that would make the UFC say, hey, we want him to be our champion. You know, he's got a fan base he can bring in. He can usher in. He got the whole black community behind him. He got the hood behind him. The hood don't really follow the UFC. This is a white boy sport, whether you guys like it or not. That's a fact. And, you know, Joaquin, at least he's sussed out a reason. And this is coming from a guy who knocked the fuck out of Wonder Boy, who's got the most viewed knockout of all time. Okay, who was undefeated at welterweight until he fought Usman. Beat Covington, you know, stopped him as well. Do you hear Joaquin saying, but I stopped Covington, blah, blah, or I stopped this person and that person. I got the most viewed knockout. He doesn't even talk about this shit. You know? And that's the one thing that it does bother me with Charles. Charles cannot pick up a microphone without saying Joshua Van or, you know, nowadays, Loner Kavanaugh as well. He just cannot do it. Umar C, Ian Kute Laba. I'm going to just speed past this one. Umar C tapped out within 3 seconds of a choke getting applied. Low-key pathetic. Okay, low-key pathetic. And that's what I'm going to say about it. I'm going to leave it at that. Congratulations, Ian Kute Laba. You got the job done. Umar C, yikes. Yikes, homie. Yikes. That's dog shit. That's just as bad as not putting your foot on the outside on a single leg. That's dog shit. You tapped in 3 seconds, homie. Less than 3 seconds you tapped. That's embarrassing. Marwan Rahiki. Homie got the snappiest punches in all of the UFC. I saw somebody tweet that, so I won't take credit for that, but it's true. Marwan Rahiki, shout out Morocco, shout out Australia, snappiest puncher in all the UFC. This dude, let me find out that this dude is like a super good skater and he got all of his skills scrapping in the skate park. Let me find out. Because that's how he fucking fights. This dude fights like he'd been scrapping in the skate park since he was 12 years old, taking on all comers. Eventually got into fighting because he was just a natural scrapper. You know, Rahiki, that's what he reminds me of. Like a skater, not turning down no fades at the skate park. You know, a little dude at school known for knocking big dudes out. We all seen it. We all know the little dudes at school, and they're usually skaters. Crazy enough, but this, you know, Marwan Rahiki, I want to know, you know, were you a skater in your past life? Like, what were your previous hobbies? I've reached out to him for an interview, but he blowing up right now. You know, I'm sure my DM is already at the bottom, so I'm going to have to hit him back tomorrow. But long story short, Harry Hardwick, you know, rendered unable to continue after the second round because Mr. Snappy broke his fucking jaw. One of them snappy punches broke fucking Harry Hardwick's jaw. And, you know, shout out to Harry Hardwick. He's making me a bit of a fan just because of how good of a sport he's being after breaking his jaw. But looks like that's fight of the night right there. So I think that's, I'm not sure what bonus they got. I don't think it's 6 bands. I'm a roller skater. Shout out to Meat Rocket. Rahiki has an iron chin. Facts. And then I see you boys saying about the shoulder. I'm going to take care of it. I'm going to take care of it. You boys are right. You boys are right. The longevity over anything. You know, who cares about missing out on a lift? It's about being able to continue lifting. Jose Miguel Delgado, Andre Fili. Congratulations, Jose Miguel Delgado. Solid fight. Great scrap. Just like Marwan Rahiki versus Harry Hardwick. That was also a great scrap. Jose Delgado, Andre Fili. It's a great scrap. It's a great scrap. These are the things we want to see in the UFC. We want to see Jose Delgado Jr. versus Andre Fili. We want to see Marwan Rahiki versus Harry Hardwick, right? We want to see Elijah Smith versus Su Young Yu. We want to see guys like Steven Asplund. We want to see Manuel Souza versus Balaji Oki. This is what we want to see. This is the stuff we want to see. We do not want to see Mitabek Orobai versus Chris Curtis. And I'm going to be nice to everybody else. I'm going to leave everybody else alone. Okay. But we don't want to see Mitabek Orobai versus Chris Curtis. Jose, I think that he evolved in the middle of the fight. Yeah, Ruby Z says Delgado put BTA in the second and third. That's when he evolved. You know, he was making the same mistakes in that first round, rushing forward, you know, walking in while punching and just trying to band together this big old combo to get a finish. And you know, it just didn't really work out for him in that first round. Luckily, I don't know who told him. Maybe he did, you know, he told himself or his corners did. But somebody told him going into that second round, you need to stop walking yourself into punches. You need to go more, you know, single shot, right? More technical. No more trying to finish this dude off a flurry. You know, he's fallen in love with the knockout. That's one thing I did get from Jose. He's fallen in love with the knockout. But after that first round, after the knockout didn't come, he locked back in, got more technical, started firing off single shots, and had a lot more success. A lot more success. Jose does this thing where he like kind of walks forward like 1, 2, 3, knee up the middle, you know, another left hook, and it's like it's a bit too much, homie. It is a bit too much. That's almost like in the amateurs where you can just like steamroll through your opponent with techniques. Nowadays in the UFC, it's a bit more, you know, professional. You know, it's a bit more like well, you know, like I said, a bit more calculated. A bit more calculated. But congrats to Jose Delgado. Andre's a good step up in competition. I just would say this one thing. The UFC doesn't need to push Jose Delgado to the top right away. He has a lot of potential. He's actually a raw fighter with a ton of potential. A ton of potential. The fact that he evolved mid-fight, you know, that's a promising attribute. So I would say just don't speed rush Jose Delgado. In 2 years, he could be super technical, a massive problem for everybody. Jose Delgado, we fuck with you, homie. And, you know, I would say just work on that jits, bro. Work on that jits for your next fight. I'm not saying your jits is bad. I'm just saying, you know, work on it to the point where you're confident showing it off in your fights. You're already a wrestler. You know, you're already a pretty good striker. Start working on that jits a little bit while you got some time. Jillian Robertson, Amanda Lemos. Congratulations to Jillian Robertson. Kevin Viejos and Josh Emmett. Knocks homie out in the first round. Kevin Viejos, he's him. Viejos is him. Ilya Topuria 2.0. I just wanted to say this about the fight and Kevin Viejos, and then we'll move on from this card. As far as another opponent for Viejos, I mean, we can just look at it real quick. Kevin, number 14, he just beat Emmett, number 11. Steve Garcia booked. Arnold Allen booked. Zalal booked. Aljo booked. Lerone booked. Diego Mozart booked. So that leaves Yair Rodriguez, Gene Silva, Brian Ortega. Those are going to be the three. He did call out Yair. If he really wants Yair, then run it. Okay, but if not, I'm actually gonna bypass the Gene Silva fight. No need to run this one back yet. We can give that one some time. But Brian Ortega or Yair Rodriguez. That's what I'll say. But what I also want to say about Kevin Vallejos is, obviously, for those that don't know, Vallejos, he lost his first fight on Contender Series to none other than Gene Silva. And we do see how good Gene Silva is. But when you consider the fact that he lost to Gene Silva, right, to get his ticket into the UFC, it kind of makes sense why he's beating a guy like Josh Emmett. Because the sport has evolved in real time. Essentially to the point where Kevin Vallejos, right, if he couldn't get past a Gene Silva, he couldn't get into the UFC. And in my opinion, they haven't scrapped yet, but Gene Silva, he beats Josh Emmett as well. And so for that to be the case, right, for the barrier of entry to be a guy who was on the regional scene as well when they fought on DWCS, you got to be better than a guy on the regional scene to get in, and that dude on the regional scene that you got to be better than is better than Josh Emmett already. It just shows how much the sport has evolved and why these guys are better super early in their UFC tenure. Because Kevin Vallejos, he's early in his UFC tenure. He only got a few fights. 4-0 in the UFC. He was 3-0 before Emmett. How is a guy with 3 fights in the UFC that fucking good beating Emmett? Well, and Jikot and Giga. Well, the reason why is because the barrier of entry to get into the promotion is crazy. You got to be better than Gene Silva to get in this bitch. So that is one thing I would say is, like, the sport is evolving at a pretty crazy rate. And, it shouldn't surprise you anymore, certain guys who get in here and walk through some of the veterans, because these veterans are almost outdated. Josh Emmett, his skill is a bit outdated. The hardware, or what do you call it? Like the software update. Josh Emmett's software hasn't been updated in years. Okay. Meanwhile, Kevin Vallejos, he running off that fucking brand new, like, iOS, update. You feel me? He that new iPhone 12, right? Rocking that brand new iOS 7 update, whatever the fuck the iOS is. Meanwhile, Josh Emmett, he like the iPhone 9, right? Still installing the new updates. He got the low battery that dies quickly and shit like that. So, Vallejos, it's just the barrier for entry to get into the UFC for him in particular was very tough. He had to set his standard being like, damn, I didn't get in. I lost to Gene Silva. I got to be better than this guy to get in. But luckily for him, that was a blessing in disguise, because if you're better than that guy, you're better than 90% of the featherweight roster. And I say all that to say that's why he beat Josh Emmett on Saturday night. And that's why he's so good, in just 4 fights in the promotion. Because he had to, in his mind, he had to say, I got to be better than this guy, Gene Silva. Right? So it's cool because he didn't even have to put, these other guys in his head who are on a mountaintop, maybe seeming like it's unachievable. If he's like, I got to be better than Josh Emmett, right? It's like, damn, well, Josh Emmett, he a beast. He done all this stuff in the UFC. I don't know. But it's almost more relatable to be like, I got to be better than this guy who also beat me on the regional scene in Gene Silva, right? It's like tricking the mind. I got to be better than this guy. And you don't even realize yet that the guy you're trying to be better than is better than the UFC competition. And that's why I say the sport evolved in real time. So that's a very deep thought. If you didn't understand it, just rewind it. But that's a very deep thought, but it is a good thought to have, And it's just more so to say that the loss to Gene Silva was a blessing in disguise for Vallejos, because it made him up the bar that much higher. It made him up that bar that much higher. Let me just make sure my bedroom door isn't open. Okay, it's not. But just give me 1 second, and then we're going to get into, UFC White House in shambles. UFC White House cooked. So this is what we're going to get into right now. And shout out to everybody watching. I'm sure you guys are just kind of sitting back, enjoying the ranting. And we haven't had a good rant like this in a minute. So, Shit, enjoy, boys, enjoy. Give me 1 minute though. I'm on the stream right now. I'm on the camera, so I'm just a little bit out of sorts. Okay, love you. Good night, sweet dreams, sweetie pie. You doing okay in there? Are you doing okay? All right, everything's fine at home. Okay, love you, sweetie. You sleep good. I'll see you tomorrow. Okay, love you. Good night, my love. Damn, did you guys hear all that or what? Wait, did I mute myself or no? I don't think I muted myself. I think you guys heard all that. Shit, you guys know I'm a good guy then if you heard all that. 1 second. Wait, somebody. I don't think I muted it. Did I mute that shit or what? Oh, God. Oh, I didn't hear crap. Low-key watching. We heard everything. Okay, well, if Meat Rocket didn't hear anything, then nobody else heard anything. I think I telepathically unmuted it without even trying. But shit, if you guys heard that, whatever. It's all good. UFC White House, here we are. Here we are. So, essentially, I feel like I had more stuff to say. America First says Brandon got the neighbor handcuffed. You didn't mute it. All right, for sure. All good. All good. You guys heard me calling my golden retriever then. So, all good. That's how you got to treat a lady. That's how you guys got to treat a lady. Let me see here. Yeah, America First said Brandon got the neighbor handcuffed in there. Would never do such a thing. Where's the frozen pizza, Brandon? I don't got no frozen pizza today. We back eating healthy. We back eating healthy. Okay. Max Holloway a bum in my opinion. Oh, AI2A back in here again trolling me. All right, whatever. Let's get into this story. Okay. So here's how it goes. Let me just read it all from the beginning to the end for you. You know, Chair of DC Sports Commission Andrew Huff is refusing to acknowledge UFC White House as a sanctioned event after UFC officials signaled they won't obtain a $100 permit because the event is taking place on federal land. Huff also states that the bouts won't count toward the fighters' official records. So let's read it officially. UFC officials have signaled they don't need a permit to host the June 14th showdown on the South Lawn, an event ordered up by President Donald Trump, the country's preeminent fan of the sport that blends boxing, jiu-jitsu, and wrestling. Andrew Huff, chair of the DC Combat Sports Commission, which regulates boxing, pro wrestling, and mixed martial arts in the city, says the UFC has said the $100 permit is unnecessary because the event is, quote, taking place on federal land. Without the permit, the commission would consider the bouts an unsanctioned event and the results would not count toward the fighters' official records. The commission also requires fighters as well as managers and promoters, among others, to obtain occupational licenses to participate. Combatants are typically asked to submit medical records, undergo a physical examination administered by a doctor assigned by the commission, and appear at a commission-sanctioned weigh-in. The UFC has its own medical staffers, Huff said, but he doesn't believe they are impartial because they are the promoter's employees. He said he is unaware of any specific protocols the UFC might institute for the fights. So this is the big Wheelchair Richie. What up, homie? Good to see you in here. What's poppin', Wheelchair Richie? I like the name. Max can't defend a leg kick. I mean, I guess, but he also like doesn't seem to get hurt by them, which is kind of an odd thing. So I guess it's fine. Max, you know, he has a hard time defending leg kicks, but he also like never is hurt by them. So I don't know. So this is the big thing though for the UFC White House event. You know, there's a few big things aside from the fact that the commission is not recognizing it as a sanctioned event. That is a big deal. I don't know what's going to happen with that, but I guess, you know, what's going to happen with it not being sanctioned is the bouts won't count towards the fighter's official records. Now, there are people saying, you know, shout out to Rush MMA here, pretty sure it's within the U.S. government's power to get this overturned. We shall see. And, you know, of course, Donald Trump's going to overturn it for Daddy Dana. He's the same guy who made sure his, you know, order for the amendment to the Muhammad Ali Act went through. Of course, Donald Trump's going to sign off on this. But aside from that, aside from those two things, the other things that, you know, need to be considered is the fact that if there's no commission, who's going to oversee the weigh-ins? There's a reason why we have commissions. You know, Dana White cannot employ people to do the weigh-ins because it's compromised, right? It's violating ethics. It's opening up the window to collusion, to tomfoolery. And it can't happen. That's the same reason why Ariel Helwani is always saying, I will not take money from a promoter. You know, I need to take money from the TV network, right? Not the promoter, because I want to be able to say negative things about the event and be impartial, right? How can you be impartial if you are employed by the UFC to conduct weigh-ins, right? The commission is not employed by the UFC. The commission is not employed by the UFC. You know, they're a separate, you know, oversight or a governing body, whatever you want to call it. And the wild thing is that this fucking permit only costs $100. So, I mean, just pay the fucking thing, bro. Pay the fucking thing. I know it's taking place on federal land, but I just explained to you, the federal land thing doesn't really matter. You know, like, we want to make sure that ethics are involved and that there's no collusion and that you're not paying the people who are going to be weighing in the fighters the night of. You know, the commission is also in charge of a lot of other things. We can read the article. Let's go to the Washington Post and read the whole article. Give me a minute. Max Hollywood. Can't believe you guys are disrespecting my man Max like that. What you guys just got me all fucked up with that Max disrespect. That's right, Washington Post. Let me just give him my email. Don't want you guys to see my email. What's poppin', HT? Good to see you in here, homie. We got a great story to get into. Oh, HT, perfect timing, HT. Man, what impeccable timing, HT. Bloodhound says, I'm starting to agree with AI. Sorry, Perry. It's all good. You're allowed to be, think whatever you'd like, homie. I don't be taking it personal. And, Max lost. So, I know criticism going to come his way. But this is the thing that I don't like about the Khabib fans out there and the Islam fans out there is like, even when their fucking boy loses, they still cry about it. Like, am I crying about Max Holloway losing? No, I'm not crying about Max Holloway losing. Not one bit am I crying about it. Am I on Charles Oliveira's ass? Am I calling Charles all these mean things? Not at all. And I wish that the sport would kind of be like me in that case. When your favorite fighter loses, deal with it. Take it. Take it on the chin. Don't make excuses. But oh my God, God forbid AI2A's favorite fighter in the world, Hamzat, loses. Get the excuses ready. Am I right, AI2A? Am I right, big dog? Okay. I might overlap the part that I read, or I can just actually skip it. But let's get into this full article. The Ultimate Fighting Championship, the promoter of mixed martial arts competition, has staged 2 marquee events in Washington over the past 15 years. In both cases, procuring permits from the DC government to hold the cage slugfest. My question, though, right? They did permit the first 2 events in the past 15 years, but were those first 2 events held on, what's the word again? Federal land. Were those events held on federal land? I don't know. I just don't know. I know it's an easy search up, but whatever. Thank you for the $2 dono, homo. Oh my God, I just called you a homo. I take it back, Tuxedo. I said shit. Thank you for the $2 dono, homo. Out of pocket. Out of pocket. Thank you for the $2, Tuxedo, saying shocking news. Benji from Natan Levy's part of the world is confirmed dead. Is that real? I'm not even going to look that up on stream. It's too dicey with that one. Someone confirm that. AI2A says Khabib never lost though and Islam lost one. Whatever. I don't got time to go back to my opinions. I've shared too many opinions to remember them. So I know what I said about that, but I'm not going to go back and forth about it. Okay, let's continue with this. What about now that the UFC is planning to entertain a certain someone at the White House? Not so much. UFC officials have signaled they don't need a permit to host the June 14th showdown on the Southern Lawn, an event ordered up by President Donald Trump, the country's preeminent fan of the sport that blends boxing, jiu-jitsu, and wrestling. Andrew Huff, chair of the DC Combat Sports Commission, which regulates boxing, pro wrestling, and mixed martial arts in the city, says the UFC has said the $100 permit is unnecessary because the event is quote-unquote taking place on federal land. UFC spokesperson declined to comment. So far, neither DC Mayor Muriel Bowser nor the White House has raised objections. Without the permit, the commission would consider the bouts an unsanctioned event and the results would not count towards the fighters' official records. I did read these things, about the unsanctioned weigh-in and all these things, so I'm not going to go over it again, but let me just read this part. We don't know anything, Huff said. Every promoter in the District of Columbia should be and is held to the same standard, whether you're putting on a small wrestling show or a major event. I'm concerned about precedent. What happens when someone puts on a boxing match in Malcolm X Park? They don't need to get us involved, question mark? The Trump administration did not respond to an email seeking comment. A timeless symbol of American power, the White House has never hosted a spectacle as indelicate as a professional fight, an event fittingly inspired by a norm-busting president whose allies happen to include the UFC's chief executive, Dana White. That's Daddy Dana. The Republican Party's ties to the UFC were punctuated earlier this week when the company said current and former fighters would teach their combat techniques to FBI agents and senior leaders at the agency's Quantico. Stop filling this article up with bullshit that we don't need to know about. Okay, the gladiator-style showdown at the White House is timed to coincide with Trump's 80th birthday, a milestone that is another opportunity for the president to remind Americans of his penchant for showmanship. Um, the White House is planning to invite 5,000 guests to watch the 6 scheduled bouts, which will be fought in a caged 25,000-pound octagon constructed for the occasion a few yards from the Oval Office. Tens of thousands more fight fans will be able to view the fights on giant screens on the Ellipse, a 52-acre park otherwise known as a setting for picnics, sightseeing, and the lighting of the national Christmas tree. Promoters have also talked about staging the ceremonial weigh-in on the steps of the White House lawn. White, during an interview last year, said the fighters would, quote-unquote, walk out of the Oval Office on their way to the ring. We're going to be on the fucking south lawn of the White House, end quote. White gushed on the Impulsive podcast, we're going to take over D.C. the whole week. UFC previously hosted matches in D.C. in 2011 and 2019. Both times at what is now known as Capital One Arena. The company obtained permits for the 2 events. Of course they did. They needed it. It wasn't taking place on federal ground. Right? Capital One Arena. You're going to need... So it's like, that is a misleading thing to say that they did that for that event. It's not a DC thing. It's a federal ground thing. Do I think we need a commission? Yes, I do. I think even if it's on federal ground, you still bring in the commission. Nick Perry, chairman of the New York Athletic Commission, essentially says no permits does not send the right message. Wherever the land is, I would suspect that local law would be applicable. Laws should apply across the board to everybody, especially laws that govern things like boxing and games where there are certain standards that are expected to be maintained. Exactly. Honestly, who wants to... I don't even want to go to this UFC White House card. I'm not going to apply for tickets. I just don't even want to go. Sounds like a pain in my ass. I would be much more comfortable chilling at home, watching it in the comfort of, these 4 walls. Okay, so here's more interesting things about it, though. The city's 5-member Combat Sports Commission, appointed by Bowser and confirmed by the DC Council, assigns licensed physicians to monitor bouts from ringside seats, a precaution that ensures added scrutiny for a sport that has caused concussions, fractures, and deep lacerations. The doctors have the authority to stop fights for medical reasons. Michael Huff says, I don't want to convey the impression that without the commission, someone will be in danger, but without the commission, you're missing an additional layer of oversight. The commission also dispatches inspectors to observe fighters before their matches, including when their hands are being taped, to make sure nothing mischievous is going on. The commission can also issue fines for bouts held without permits, though Huff said he was unaware of any such penalties being imposed in the 10 years since the mayor appointed him to the panel. Here's the interesting thing, because Huff apparently did have a call with UFC officials, well, I guess Mark Ratner, and he brought up the permit thing, and the UFC was never receptive to it from the beginning. So I'll read it out to you, but it goes, Huff said he was excited when Trump first spoke last summer about hosting the UFC White House. Huff said that Mark Ratner, UFC's vice president of government and regulatory affairs, contacted the commission in November to confirm that the event would happen in June. At the end of the call, we started to discuss our authority, and I said that in my view, the commission, if it was going to be a sanctioned event, would have a role in regulating it. Huff recalled. He didn't say anything. In February, Huff said Ratner called again to, quote, advise that they had made the decision to not work through the commission. Huff said the UFC's brush off, at least as it stands now, is a reminder of, quote, federal overreach in terms of local affairs. Meaning, federal land is trumping the local, right, authorities, so to speak. And that's pretty much the news about UFC White House. So we shall see. It might be a lot to do with nothing. I do think that the UFC will get this squared away. I do. Whether or not they obtain permits, I don't know, but I believe that they will get this squared away to where the bouts will be on the professional records, and whether or not it's a sanctioned event, I couldn't tell you. But I will say that I do not believe that these bouts won't be on the records. You know, how are we going to conduct a title fight and it's not even going to be on the record? But here are the fights right here. You know, here's the fights right here. UFC White House. UFC Freedom 250. This is a solid one to look into.
Name of the winner.
Actually, one of my favorite ones to look into. But Devin Haney reacts to his brother avenging his loss to Ryan Garcia's cousin in the amateurs. My brother beat Ryan's cousin in the rematch. Same thing will happen when we fight Rye. Payback. So yeah, this is turning out to be a great rivalry. Jacob Herrera, Ryan Garcia's little cuz, and then Sean Haney, Devin Haney's little bro.
Gentlemen, please put a big round of applause together for both of the boxers. Keep it going for your winner by split decision. Fighting out of the blue corner, Sean Haney.
Sean Haney and Devin Haney celebrate. It's now 1-1. We're going to have
trilogy.
1-1. The rubber match, Mike.
We need a trilogy, Mike.
Jacob Herrera
Homie hit the BTA celebration.
He's like, hey, whatever, but Sean Haney picks up a big win.
Built to ass all day. Oh, my bad. All right. That was just a little side note. And for those of you that might have missed the Blueface fight last night, let's just take a look.
Cardio wins.
Come on, Shibu.
If he dropped that right, he dropped.
Oh, shit.
Shibu don't have a punch combination.
He's strong.
Round 6, let's go.
Billionaire walk.
Final round.
This is it, boys. The last round of brand risk number 13.
Got out of 22 in the field.
If you've had an amazing time tonight, put me in the chat. Ew, dude, he has like snot rolling out. Dude, a Blueface. What is that fucking snot? Spit.
Blood.
Shibu! Shit.
He's hurt. He's hurt. He's hurt. He's hurt. Stop the fight.
Of the blue corner, Shibu!
Zesty ass mofo twerking after the win. What up, Soda Pop? Soda Pop, I was roasting Charles Johnson earlier. I called him shameless for acting like he won all 3 rounds in the post-fight press conference. Soda Pop says, I only care about Garcia. Oh, Steve Garcia. Oh, I was actually going to say, too, because Tyler Betts goes, Garcia's versus Haney's is the modern-day Hatfields versus McCoy's. Although I don't know what the Hatfields versus McCoy's reference is, I do know what Tyler Betts is saying. And, yeah, this beef going to go on for decades, Tyler Betts. I know that's what you're saying. This beef got generations behind it, all right? When Ryan and Devin are long gone, these two finna be beefing. So, yeah, this is a generational beef, and I do love it. I see people being like, oh, don't, there's more people who deserve the spotlight than these guys, but because of who their cousins are, they got it. Cry some more. Cry some fucking more. I'll let you know when it's time to post your boy, all right? We run this shit. Soda Pop says, I only care about Garcia. I had a dream the other night that Buck KO'd Brady with a head kick. I swear to God. Bro, Buck is going to absolutely kill Sean Brady. I mean, literally, that might be... I don't want to talk too spicy, but, I mean, Joaquin, come on, man. Come on, man. Joaquin finna kill Brady. You guys, that's one stream you guys got to tune into. I'm going to crash out so heavy on that stream. I can't wait. That fight needs to be tomorrow. I can't wait. All that shit Brady talked. All that shit Brady talked. Brady a sly motherfucker. People are going to be like, nah, Brady didn't talk shit. What you talking about? Nah. In my opinion, Brady talked a lot of shit. And, yeah, we not with Brady. We not with Brady at all. It's RIP Brady. RIP Brady come May 9th. Of course, he's getting slumped. Facts. When is Big Onk fighting? AI2A, I don't know. Sean Brady got pieced up by Bilal. Exactly, bro. And what the fuck do you think Joaquin's going to do to him? That's all you got to know is that Brady got knocked out by Bilal. I just want everybody to, all that glazed into Sean Brady, you know, that better go Buck's way once he beats him on May 9th. It all better go Buck's way. All that glazing people be doing about Brady. Space Kid says, not gonna lie, I think Brady comes back stronger. Honestly, I don't. I think the long fight camp is probably not gonna even play. I'd be surprised if Brady shows up to the fight. I'd be surprised if Brady even shows up to the damn fight. I'm saying it now. You know? Watch Brady pull out that fight. Bro, if I'm there and Buck finishes him, they might kick me out for going too crazy in the crowd. Shout out to Soda Pop. The goal should be to get kicked out. If Joaquin knocks out Brady, bro, or when Joaquin knocks out Brady, shit, your goal should be to get kicked out of that bitch. Buckley, Yuri, two-teamer. Is that same card? No, it's not the same card. You'll have to go either, you'll have to pick somebody for Strickland versus Hamzat, Franklin. UFC 327 is Yuri versus Carlos Olberg. Soda Pop goes, yeah, TBH, if I get tickets, I don't care about Waldo or Strickland. I'm down to get kicked out. Fuck it, bro. You only live once, homie. You only live once. And you getting kicked out, you might end up on the front page of Perry Punch. Soda Pop, find out or find yourself on the front page of Perry Punch after you get kicked out following Joaquin Buckley's knockout over Sean Brady. You know, one of these days, let's give Buck a call on stream. Not tonight, because it's already 10 p.m. But one of these days, let's give Buck a call on stream. You know, maybe tomorrow we could do it. I'll call him and I'll be like, yo, what you think about getting the fight pushed back? You know, we could chop it up with Joaquin on the phone for a little bit. I know he's not really doing down to do an interview, but I'm sure he'd be down to chop it up on stream. Fan gets kicked out for celebrating Joaquin Buckley's knockout. Exactly. All right, we're going to get into Claressa Shields and Papoose right now. So let me put on a sweater. Hey, yo, Larone, my N-word, Perry Punch. HT says, what if Buckley loses? What excuse are you going to say? HT, do I make excuses when Max Holloway lost, homie? I'm not going to make excuses. I don't make excuses when a fighter loses. I don't make excuses. Did I make an excuse when Buckley lost to Kamaru Usman? No, not at all. Not at all. In fact, I said Joaquin underperformed. You know, I believe that Joaquin has the skills to perform better than he did that night. And, you know, that's on him. That was on him. So I don't got no excuses. You know, you know, I'm not here to make excuses. We keep it too real to make an excuse. Like that doesn't even that ain't even in my DNA. Like make an excuse, bro. I don't even respect people who make excuses. Like not at all. Hence why I never do it. It's like not in my DNA. So if Buckley loses to Sean Brady fair and square, then that is what it is. But I don't see it happening. Franklin says, coming back stronger against Buckley. Dang, what's that even look like? Both a lot to prove still. Do we have a good fight brewing? Bro, we got a great fight brewing. We got a great fight brewing. AI2A says, Onk rib broken? I guess. I'm not really too pressed about Onk's return, to be honest. You know, we'll see when Onk returns. You know, he could, I don't know, he could find himself fighting the winner of Yuri versus Olberg. Wheelchair Richie says, that don't get you knocked out. Pereira broke his chin. Oh, you must be talking to somebody else or what? Yeah, I think you're talking to somebody else. AI2A says, not Onk got a broken rib before the fight. We just need a trilogy. I mean, kiss the trilogy goodbye. Pereira also was injured before the fight, so it's fair game. They were both injured. They both beat each other injured. Pereira's at heavyweight now. So, you know, we moving on from that trilogy. Drew goes, Onk ain't exciting. Now we fans of Onk. Yeah, honestly, over the last 5 months, the amount of people who have asked about Ankalaev's return are zero. It's just AI2A. Onk low-key isn't even a bad person. I never said he was a bad person. I'm sure he's a great guy. Never met him. I'm sure he's a great guy. Him says, Buck won't lose to Brady. Brady is trash. Thank you, Him. Thanks for summing that up. Brady's pure trash, bro, and he's not a real fighter. Joaquin's a real fucking fighter. Nico says, what do you think about Quill and Salkilled? I think until Ilya and Arman are alive, while Ilya and Arman are alive, Quillin is never touching gold. Plus, Usman or Magomedov's debut in the UFC will make his chances zero. Shit, that'd be a great debut for Usman, wouldn't it? Usman versus Quillin Salkilled. I do like Quillin Salkilled. It's just early on, and he hasn't. I don't mean to do this, right? But when you guys ask me, and we're talking about Quillin Salkilled, and it's no offense, Nico. It's no offense. Just hear me out. Okay, hear me out. I'm trying to level expectations here. We're talking about Quillin Salkilled, right? Becoming somewhat of a world champion. Okay, guys, 4-0 in the UFC. But 4-0 in the UFC is not equal all across the board. You have to look at his wins. Anshul Jubilee, Yanal Ashmouz. I've never heard of this dude. Nasrat Hackpress, that's a solid ass win. I respect Nasrat. And then Jamie Malarkey. You know, it's yes, but until he beats a ranked opponent, you know, let's not even talk about a title shot yet. You know, he's good. Quillin is good, but we still don't have that gauge yet. You know, until Quillin faces Kevin Viejos, David Onama, Pitbull, Malik Wazell, then we can gauge it. Once you get in this top 15, we can gauge it. But honestly, there's just no gauge on Quillin yet. I couldn't say anything about his future. Other than it's probably positive that he beat, you know, Nasrat Hackpress. Because if I'm not mistaken, you know, Nasrat has been competing against ranked fighters for a little minute now. So, you know, that's what I'd say about that. But I'm high on Nasrat. If he does anything with Beneil, we still need to test him even more. Beneil's too old. I would love to see Quillen against a Kevin Vallejos. If we could book that next, that would be the one for me. Quillen versus Kevin Vallejos. That would be the one for me. Fans missing Big Onk? Not at all, Jew. What's up, gang? What up, Cupcake? Him goes, you guys respect people like Holloway and Gaethje who are trash and get matchup handouts, but don't like Onk? Look at the people Onk has fought against. I don't got a problem with Onk. I don't got a problem with Onk. How we go about from talking about Joaquin Buckley to Ankalaev. Ankalaev getting a lot of hate in the chat though. I'm just saying people have not been asking about his return. That's all I'm saying. Pereira ducked Joaquin, not Ankalaev. Very true. Onk should fight Hill though. Oh, I like that one. I like that, Jew. Onk versus Hill, good money. Onk is family man now. Quill versus Benny is evil matchup, low key. Sal Killed is overrated, man, says Soda Pop. I mean, if we're talking about title shots, that's way too soon. If Onk wants the trilogy, he can go to heavyweight too. Then it's a pointless argument, LMAO. Yeah. Go to heavyweight if you want the trilogy. Jew says, shows UFC will chew you up and spit you out when you're worn down. Speaking about Beneil Dariush. Yeah. That's why you shouldn't fight, on the machine's timeline. You should fight when you're ready to go. That's why I keep saying. Isn't Onk and Sean in the same division? Sean Strickland? No. Soda Pop goes, yeah, Nasrat win is great, but he didn't outskill Nasrat. Getting a head kick in round 1 doesn't show me anything. That's where I'm at with things, and I'll maybe bring back what Soda Pop said a little bit, and I'll say that, like, it doesn't mean that it doesn't show me anything, getting the first round head kick. It's just that, okay, a first round head kick, it is what Soda Pop said, you didn't outskill him, right? You did land the shot, and you did knock him out. Now, that'll be buried in the back of my head. That's like a little bit of context, right? That knockout, the head kick over Nasrat, is only context for me. So once Quillen beats a certified fighter, I can go back into my context about his previous wins against, people who aren't certified, and I can say, okay, these weren't flukes. Right? They were these good shots. They weren't lucky opportunities. He is this skilled. Maybe it was the fact that he was levels above Nasrat, right? But if he goes out and he loses to a ranked guy, then I'm going to go back to my context and I'm going to be like, you know what? Maybe he did get lucky with that head kick against Nasrat, right? So that's all that is. The head kick is like, it wasn't enough to make a true judgment. And we just got to, I'm keeping it in the back of my mind. I'm not going to forget about it. And I will use it in his favor when the time is right. When the time is right. I'm just reserving my hype for him. Like Juice says, Quill the real deal. I'm telling you. For me, I'm reserving that. I'm keeping that close to my chest for now. I'll let you guys know when I think he's the real deal. Could he be the real deal? He could be the real deal. Am I willing to certify him? No. Kevin Vallejos, he's the real deal. Do you guys see the difference there? I'm sure you guys see the difference there, at least in my willingness to co-sign a fighter or not. Kevin Vallejos, you get a main event, you knock out Josh Emmett in the first round. Okay, bro. And coming off that win over Giga, okay, now I'm using that context and I'm like, homie's a beast. He didn't get lucky against Giga. Okay, pure skills against Giga. And I'm just making it simple for you guys. It's more of an elaborate thought process than that even, but I'm just trying to give you guys, an example of how to gauge things, because a win isn't a win, and all knockouts aren't the same, all wins aren't the same. You know, who did you beat? Right? And how did you finish them? Nico, don't ever delete a chat again in your life. John Pork needs to debut already. Fuck John Pork. I hope he never debuts in the UFC. Shanko needs to be in the UFC. No, he doesn't. He should be banned from the UFC just like Dylan Dennis. He assaulted the fuck out of Dylan Dennis in a beef that he has nothing to do with. Absolutely zero to do with. He should be arrested, to be honest with you. Or, you know what? I won't even advocate for that anymore, even though it's a troll. It's a troll for sure. But it's like, he definitely, this one I'm dead serious about. I don't want him back in the US. Revoke that fucking visa. Get him the fuck out of our turf. Keep Shanko out of our country. We don't want him here. You came in here and you assaulted our citizen and you fled back to Russia. Where's that passport, homie? Let me see that shit. I'm going to rip it up when I get it. I'm going to rip that shit up when I get my hands on that. And I said too, that little criminal has said, get him the fuck out of here too. We don't want you ever setting foot back on our soil. You know, you're not welcome here. In the US, you're not welcome here. You come to California, Shanko and I said, you better check in with me. I'm going to send my goons to get you guys the fuck out of here. Or I'll come handle it myself. I said, I don't need no goons for a said. Fuck you, Brandon. Don't ever disrespect Shanko. Fuck Shanko. Fuck Shanko till it's backwards. Someone send me his passport. I want to burn it. John Pork. John Pork. John Pork. Wow, Shanko was defending his friends. Fuck that guy, bro. Nobody asked him to do that. No one asked him to do that. Defending his friends. Fuck that dude. Get him the fuck out of here. Not welcome in the US. We don't even want him here. Coming to our country, arrogant motherfucker. And then defending his friends in our country. Then going on an interview and self-snitching at its finest. Don't forget the self-snitching interview with Red Corner MMA. It's probably still on YouTube as we speak. Okay, don't forget about that shit. The self-snitch himself, John Pork. We don't call him Shanko. We call him John Pork. Okay, the self-snitch himself, John Pork. Don't ever put your foot back in the U.S. And you never setting foot in that UFC octagon, homie. So hopefully your daddy Islam is going to pay all your bills. Because you, hopefully your daddy Islam's going to pay all your bills because you defended his ass, right? Okay. Yeah, hopefully daddy Islam's going to pay all your bills then. Rip that visa. Rip that shit up. Burn it. Burn it. We don't want him ever back here. We do not want him ever back here. Dylan Dennis tried to take a seat. Still not a reason to come on U.S. soil and assault one of our citizens. Okay, fuck that guy. And fuck Ased too. Old ass gray beard Ased. Big bad Brandon shit. Badder than Ased. I might not be badder than Shanko. But we taking Ased's bitch ass out. Tuxedo says 2026 is our year, Perry. We out here. It's our year, homie. We taking over this year. Thank you for the $2 dono, Tux. Much appreciated. And Tux, I did want to give you a special shout out because I shouted out a couple of the other boys earlier, a couple days ago, Tyler Betts and Andrew Nance for supporting the channel. And it's only right that I also shout you out, Tuxedo Mask, because you have been supporting since the beginning, and I'm grateful for your support. So just a special shout out to Tuxedo Mask for always supporting the channel. Okay, it doesn't go unnoticed, and it's greatly appreciated. But moving on, I just, it needed to be said for Tuxedo. I've been showing the other boys some love for supporting, and Tuxedo, I recognize the love you showed the channel, so thank you. Back to the regionals for John Pork. Get John Pork the fuck out of here. Come to our country and defend your friends. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. We don't get that same privilege in Russia. Shit, we get like detained in Russia just for flying there. Stupid motherfuckers. So no. You know what I mean? Shanko, if we get detained for just going to Russia and we get questioned for what we want to do in there, all right, then fuck Shanko. We don't want you back in our country. I don't get to go to Russia to defend my friends. I'm getting detained the second I touch foot in Russia. They're like, yo, what are you doing here? What do you want to do in our country? Assaulting a citizen in defense of your friend who's also not a U.S. citizen? Since when did that become an excuse? Brandon wants to become Dylan Dennis 2.0. No, I just got some loyalty to my people. And Dylan Dennis is an American, and I don't give a fuck about Shanko. I don't give a fuck about Shanko. Or, sorry, John Pork. I'm sticking with the Americans, you know? And that doesn't mean I'm against the Russian fighters. It just means that, like, why the fuck would I glaze up a bitch-ass John Pork, okay, when he assaulted one of our American citizens with something he has nothing to do with? Why the fuck would I glaze him up? I don't even know why he gets glazed up. Because he looks like a pig or something? Like, why does John Pork get glazed up? Why do people like him? Tuxedo goes, what the fuck? Where was my shout out the other day? You weren't in the chat donating, so that's why I missed it. But Tyler Betts copped a membership, and then Andrew Nance, he been gifting out memberships on the daily in the chat. So I was shouting them out for their support. But then, you know, on the back end, when I was off air, I was like, you know what? I need a shout out to Tuxedo Mask as well, because Tuxedo Mask also supports the channel heavily. So don't get it twisted, homie. Don't get it twisted. Jay crashing out on the Dagestanis is so entertaining. It's just like the softest shit ever, you know? And the thing that pisses me off even more is any of you American boys in the chat right now, you know, I'm going to call you out. Any of you American boys in the chat right now who are glazing up Shanko, insane to me. Insane to me that you won't ride by your own fucking American citizens who literally got done wrong. You know, literally got done wrong. Dylan Dennis got jumped by foreigners. And he got banned from the UFC for that. And people are still glazing up John Pork for what? For what? Coward move jumping Dylan Dennis. And Dylan gets banned for their actions. Dylan's an American. You know, I'm rocking with Dylan. Dylan didn't even do anything wrong. What? Because he posted a picture of Ali kissing Islam? Oh my God, go cry. Go cry. Why don't you familiar yourself with the fucking US laws before you go ahead and fly down here and assault one of our citizens? Because that's the problem with Shanko, is he's out here, or John Pork. And I mean that with all the disrespect. You know, I actually don't want to call him, you know, by his real name. I want to call him John Pork to disrespect him, because I know he doesn't like that. So I mean all the disrespect when I call him John Pork. Nobody likes Dylan Dennis. You know, that's the problem, bro. Sheep. Nobody likes Dylan Dennis, so let me be one of the everybody's. You know, I don't need just be what? So nobody likes Dylan Dennis, so now I gotta not like Dylan Dennis. Now I got my own opinions, brother. And it could be just me. It could be just me supporting Dylan Dennis. And just because I got his back, it don't even mean I like him. You got it twisted, AI2A. Just because I got Dylan's back don't even mean I like him, homie. It don't even mean I like him. It just means that I'm riding with the American boy because he got done dirty by a group of foreigners. And these foreigners who should get their passports revoked, who should get banned from the UFC, haven't gotten shit for punishment. Okay, jumped. Graybeard has said, jumping in on that shit too, assaulting innocent bystanders in the crowd. I am not the guy you want to call out for this shit right now, because we already did the deep dive. I don't even got none of this stuff up right now, but I got it off the top of the dome. Okay, Shanko assaulting innocent people in the crowd. Then you got stupid ass Baldy in a suit and jeans on. Sorry, a suit jacket and jeans on. Stupid ass Baldy, suit jacket and jeans on, also assaulting innocent people in the crowd, also assaulting Dylan Dennis. Dylan Dennis jumped by a group of fucking Russian thugs. Shanko, the same guy who scaled the cage after Conor beat Habib and started punching on him too. So what's the reason for that? These guys have the craziest entitlement I've ever seen in my life. The most insane entitlement I've ever seen in my life, you know, comes from these guys. Bunch of bitches. Crybaby bitches. Always got to solve their problems with punching you. Shit. You know what they make for people like that. Shout out to Bud Crawford. Okay, you know what they make for people like that. You know what they make for people like that. And that's how I'm going to leave it, you know. These guys always wanted to come up and solve their problems with violence and shit like that because that's their way. You can't say something about me online without getting punched. Shit, come do that. Come do that. You finna get popped. Not by me. I'm just saying in America, you go do that in America. You run the fade with everybody in America. You finna get popped. You finna get popped, and that's just a fact. So fuck those guys. Fuck those guys. Tough in numbers, those guys. Tough in numbers. Let's see. It said Graybeard has said run the ones. Let's see. Graybeard has said run the ones. I didn't say John Pork was in the Khabib versus Conor brawl. I said dirty ass fucking Ased was. Old ass fucking Ased. That's who I said was in the Conor brawl. Who cares, bro? It was 6 months ago. It's not that serious. Super serious. Super serious. Brandon, you're not tough. Not about being tough. Not about being tough. Not about being tough at all. It's about what's right and what's wrong. And it's about calling out you fucking Shanko Glazers. What is the deal with that? Why do people glaze up Shanko? Oh my God. I'm such a fanboy of Shanko. He's so cool and funny. Like, what is it? I couldn't even, like, the best thing I could come up with is that he's cool and funny. He not even cool. Homie looked like he got downs. I'm sorry. All right, I'm sorry. But he just looks like he got downs, okay? He just looked like he got the downs. That's what I thought he was. When I first saw Shanko, I was like, oh, you know, typical Islam, like showing love to the, showing love to the, whatever the word is for people who aren't normal, you know, because Islam always does show love to like less fortunate people. And it's like, when I first saw Shanko or John Pork, I was like, oh, he's like kind of like, okay, you know how they bring over the midget with them? No offense. But shit, let me just say whatever the fuck I want to say. You know how they bring the little midget with them into the octagon, right? I literally thought when I saw John Pork, I was like, oh, they got another one of these guys with them. Like they show love to the special ed, so to speak. Okay, there we go. I was like, oh, this is another special ed with him. And then I found out that that was his top kickboxing training partner. I'm like, what the fuck? You sure? Like that guy? That guy. And then I saw him jumping on Dylan Dennis, and I'm like, oh, no, he's just as stupid as I thought he was. He just as stupid as I thought he was. But yeah, it's super goofy. It's super goofy. You guys need it to be called out. Whoever glazes up Shanko, like, get a hold of yourself, bro. Go goon real quick and come back and talk to me. Like, go take a lap or something. Like, you got too much pent-up energy for Shanko. Jeez. Shit, I'm on it, Space Kid. I'm on it tonight, homie. I'm on it tonight. I'm on it tonight. You know. It just had to be said, bro. It just has to be said. Has to be said. They only punch outside the cage. Masvidal was going to beat his ass, but 109% you wouldn't say nothing. Well, he's an American citizen. He's an American citizen, and at least Masvidal would be running the fade with Dylan over beef that Dylan created with him. Shanko and Dylan Dennis had zero beef. And Shanko's punching on him on behalf of like what? If Masvidal wants to do it as an American, he could do it as an American. But best believe if Masvidal went and attacked Dylan Dennis and Dylan Dennis received a lifetime ban, I would have said, you know, ban Masvidal too. I don't want to see Masvidal back in the UFC either then. It's about what's right and what's wrong at the end of the day. I'm not really, my feelings don't fucking control me. It's about the logic. So, that's all it is. Americans have a weird infatuation with daggy fighters. I don't know why. Super weird. Super weird, though. It's because people like John Pork, and he's a good fighter. Raise your hand if you ever seen a John Pork fight in your life. Oh, raise your hand if you ever seen a John Pork fight in your fucking life. Stop the cap, bro. Stop the fucking cap. We never seen the guy fight. Stop the cap. It's like one of those things where somebody's wearing like a fucking Tribe Called Quest t-shirt or something like that, or like a Biggie Smalls tee, and then you go up to him and you're like, name 5 songs, and they're like, oh. It's like, oh, you a big John Pork fan? You got the shirt? Name 5 fights. Name 5 fights. Nah. AI2A says me. It's like, bro, name 5 fights. He had a UFC debut, bro. Shit, went right past me. Didn't even know he debuted in the UFC. Watch John Pork UFC fight. No, I won't. Has he really debuted in the UFC, bro, or are you tripping? Bro, he doesn't even exist on Tapology. Who even knows that guy's name? Zay something? Yeah, Zaynukov. This little dipshit. Definitely didn't debut in the UFC. AI2A is not the UFC. Yeah, he won't fight. He won't fight since. Name 3 fights, LOL. You know the deal, bro. These boys be glazing him, and it's like, name 3 fights. Like, come on, bro. Nobody's seen this dude. Let's stop the cap. Stop the cap. Just watch it. He's an amazing striker. I don't doubt that he's an amazing striker. I've already heard the rumors. I heard the rumors. I'm sure he's a good striker. Unfortunately, he set foot on U.S. soil, assaulted one of our citizens, and then got that guy banned from the UFC for life. And for that, first off, free Dylan Dennis. And second off, until it's Justin for Dennis, I ain't fucking with John Pork. I just ain't doing it. Until Dylan Dennis gets his justice, we ain't fucking with John Pork. Not at all. Not at all. Andrew, what's poppin', homie? Good to see you in the chat, brother. Andrew, you might love the rant I've just been on for the last 45 minutes. Yeah, let's look at Shanko's record. 0-0. So the first guy he fought was 0-0. Second guy he fought 4-2. Third guy 2-2. Fourth guy 9-4. Fifth guy 3-1. Sixth guy 6-2-1. Seventh guy 7-0-1. Not the worst. Not the worst pro record. I'll admit. It's not the worst pro record. AI2A says, I can name 3: Dylan Dennis, Lucas Caldas, and Islam Makhachev. Islam Makhachev is like a training partner. So I guess it doesn't really count. And him. It's not really about John Pork's skills. He could be as elite as he wants to be. He could be as elite as he wants to be. This is the same thing as me telling you guys, like, oh, go look up Dylan Dennis's fight. Go look up Dylan Dennis's fight. You should like Dylan Dennis. Go look up Dylan Dennis's fight. Go look at his IBJJF highlights. You should like Dylan Dennis. You know, like it just like what? The same reason Jew goes, is this rage bait or are we just slopping on his eggplant this much? I mean, I'm slopping all over his eggplant. I mean, I don't know. It's like a mix of trolling and you know, I'm expressing how I really feel. You guys know I really feel this way about Shanko. You guys know I really feel this way about Shanko, but the more comments that come in, it's just making me address the contradictions. Like, you know, him is saying, if you watch his fight against Lucas, you will see John Pork is elite. And it's like, okay, but I don't like John Pork because he assaulted one of our citizens and he should be punished for that. And if you're going to punish that guy he assaulted, then he should get punished too. I won't say shit about Shanko if we free Dylan Dennis. I won't say shit about Shanko if we free Dylan Dennis. Shanko can come back too. In fact, Shanko and Dylan Dennis should run it in the UFC. You know, it's more so the fact that I need to double down on Shanko because everybody just went right over everybody's heads what he did and the contradiction in this whole matter because everybody is a sheep and they're like, oh, well, we don't like Dylan Dennis anyway, so fuck it. You know, I'm not going to question it. It doesn't matter. No, bro. Not at all. Not at all. Don't you have to beat an elite fighter to be considered elite? I don't know. I mean, I would like to say that, yeah. I would like to say that. But, yeah. I mean, everybody telling me go watch Shanko's highlights. He's a good striker. Okay, go watch Dylan Dennis's highlights. He's a good grappler. Is that going to make you guys like him? Okay, so then it's not going to make me like fucking Shanko. The only thing that's going to make me like Shanko is if they free Dylan Dennis. They don't free Dylan Dennis, I ain't freeing Shanko, regardless of how good of a fighter he is. I hope that's crystal clear. Now, we've spent so much time on this topic. It's like we don't got much time else for the Clarissa Shields versus Papoose. We don't got that much time for Clarissa versus Papoose. This guy definitely loves Colby Covington. I mean, not really. Not really. Team Habib is all on steroids. I mean, there's just a lot of egregious things that have taken place with Team Habib. A lot. Think we're going to skip the Clarissa Shields and Papoose topic for tomorrow. We're going to save that one for tomorrow. We'll save Clarissa Shields versus Papoose Papoose beef for tomorrow. HT says, I've watched 2 John Pork fights. He's not UFC level. He wouldn't beat any top 15 lightweights. After watching 2 of John Pork fights, my opinion, Dennis will destroy John Pork easily. And we all know how shit Dennis is. Damn. For HT to say that, damn HT. Say less, HT. Say less. I got you. Dylan was making AI-generated videos of Logan's wife, too. Dude's just a total slime bag. I mean, all right. Am I the only one who thought that was funny as hell or what? Like, I mean, I kind of found that funny as hell. Him, don't lie to me, homie. Don't lie to me. You really didn't like that or you thought it was kind of funny? Low key. Logan the scammer question mark? Yeah, I was going to say that. Like, there's more to that whole thing anyway. That was hilarious. Space Kid says, we all was fucking with John Pork at the start, though. To be honest, I wasn't. I didn't understand the hype craze from the beginning. I was like, who is this guy? Why is everybody sucking him off? That's what I literally thought from the beginning, even before he assaulted Dylan Dennis. I'm like, why is this dude getting sucked off so heavy? You know, there's guys in the UFC that need to be sucked off right now. No Diddy. No Diddy. He might sue you, LOL, don't. I swear a guy can kill hit. Oh my gosh, dude. Jeez Louise, AI, you almost made me say the H word. Fuck the guy who killed so-and-so, bro. You tripping, AI 2A. You absolutely tripping, but that's okay. Him goes, I think it's a bit funny if he actually fought and backed his mouth, but he's just getting beat on everywhere he goes. I get it. I get it, but I guess the what do you call it? The devil's advocate him would be that, like, well, shit. You know, that's what you get for talking that shit, right? You talked all that shit, and then you got your ass beat. So I guess that makes it a little bit more clownish. So, you know, you talk shit on somebody's wife, sure, you have free will to do that, but, you know, you take a bad enough ass beat and people are going to be on you about that. But that's pretty much going to be the stream. That'll pretty much be the stream. I'm probably going to go hit the gym. But speaking about Clarissa, no, don't leave us.
Hey, y'all. Come on. Come on.
Later, bro. W stream. Shout out him. My man him. I didn't mean to single you out earlier, homie. But it was nothing personal. All love him. Thank you, Tuxedo, for the $2 dono once again, brother. Smoke a blunt and eat a pizza instead. I love it. But it should have been in shred. It should have been in shred. Can you please talk about Winged C? Meat Rocket, I saw you asking about Winged C. I mean, what do you want me to say about him? I mean, he seems cool. He seems cool. Yuri says, I wish Useless and Juice Man were here and beefing in chat today. I find their beef entertaining. I know. Where the fuck's the Juice Man at? You retarded is such an offensive username. It's actually genius. One of the best ones I've seen. There's nothing offensive about it. What I was going to say about Clarissa and Papoose real quick is that, so here's the lore. Here's the lore about Clarissa and Papoose. I might even give you guys the lore tomorrow too. I'm kind of undecided about if I'm going to cover this tonight. I don't think I will. But nothing's ever certain until the stream turns off. So shit, maybe. Clarissa Shields. Okay. The beef with Papoose and 50 Cent goes like this. Papoose, 50, they've been beefing. All right. Papoose, he dropped a diss track on 50. 50 responded by claiming Clarissa cheated on Papoose with Maserati Bud. Do I know who Maserati Bud is? Hell no. Do I think it's super corny that his first name is Maserati? Extremely corny. Extremely corny. That's like me calling myself Lamborghini Jake. Like, what the fuck is wrong with me? Right? What the fuck is wrong with Maserati Bud? Apparently Maserati Bud, you know, cracked Clarissa. That's what 50 Cent's stating. Clarissa responds to the allegations from 50 that she cheated on Papoose with Maserati Bud. People are saying that, you know, Clarissa, she shows text messages with Maserati Bud on this video. She does. She does. And she was responding quite a bit. So that's pretty much the whole thing, though. You know, Papoose drops a diss track on 50, 50 not really rapping. So his response to the diss track is accuse Clarissa of cheating on him. And in my opinion, you know, I think that 50 hired this guy Maserati Bud to be a plant inside Clarissa's camp, to basically spy on her, get video footage, just in case Papoose claps back. We all know how petty 50 Cent is, so that shouldn't come as a surprise to any of you. But that is the story, and so this is Clarissa's live right here.
Because I didn't even want to.
Actually, I guess I could just play this for you guys for a minute while I'm kind of doing my thing, getting ready for the gym. I guess I might not be sitting here, but I could play this for you guys. Yeah, let me play this for you guys. You already know Clarissa staying. Damn, Bloodhound. Viejos versus Topuria. That'd be great. Eventually. But I mean, Topuria's 55 now. All right, guys. I'll play this for you since I just gave you the lore. I'll play this for you while I'm kind of getting ready for the gym. Do you think Clarissa is attractive? No. I don't. Me Rocket says, you're retarded. Your name isn't even Yuri. I have 2 uncles and a cousin named Yuri. Isn't 50 Cent gay or bisexual or something? I don't know. I only drink vitamin water. Shout out 50. Brandon, can you please apologize to Shanko, Hasbullah, and Dagestan? Wait a minute. I never insulted Dagestan. Hasbullah did catch a stray, but not really. But I will apologize if I offended Hasbullah. My bad. Shanko, 2 times, fuck you. Shanko, all you got to do, speak up in defense of Dylan Dennis, say that he shouldn't get banned, and I'll support you. Okay, tell Shanko to come out and support Dylan Dennis and say he shouldn't get banned, and I'll support him. But, you know, Islam also is just so funny because Islam also, after that whole assault went down, Islam's like, Dylan Dennis should be banned from this country. The projecting is crazy. You know, the projecting is crazy. Homie knew his boy's about to get banned from this country. So he went ahead and he put it on fucking Dylan Dennis instead. You know? But Islam Makhachev at the post-fight press conference, I can't make this shit up. He goes, Dylan Dennis should be banned from this country. Nah. John Pork, Ased, and old fucking Baldy with the suit jacket and jean pants on should all be banned from this country. Sup, bro? How you doing? I'm doing good, Useless. We about to kind of end the stream, though. What took you so long to hop in here? Bro, you fighting Hasbullah would be sick. No need. Hasbullah says he wants to fight you. Shit. Hasbullah, you got that, homie. You got me. You got that, homie. Okay, let's play this. Let's play Clarissa Shields. You guys get the lore while I'm getting ready for the gym.
I have to do this, but since I got to do it, come on in. Hey, y'all. What's up? Y'all, I'm going to let y'all come in first before I even start because I can't do nothing but even laugh at this shit. Oh, my God. Whew. Come on in. Come on. Hey, y'all. Good morning. Good morning. Good afternoon. It's 2 o'clock. 5 o'clock for some of y'all at. What's up, Justin? Hey, Emery Boo. Okay. I'm going to start with this. One, this is how you recognize weirdo niggas, right? This weirdo, Maserati Bud. First of all, ever since I met this fool, he's a fan that asks for a picture. He has went from there to something else. First, let's start with this. We know this clown is lying. We know But 50, I'm finna get on your ass. But hold on. You mad that I recorded your dumb ass?
Listen, I did not fuck her. We were talking.
Okay, but you,
and that's
you understand what I'm saying, how it looks? Because he not
I know how it looks. Listen, you keep acting like y'all don't know who y'all dealing with. You dealing with Curtis Petty Jackson. And I told you, at the end of the day, he has been back in the corner. This man keep dissing him.
He has been back in the corner. This man keep dissing him. I did not F her. So why are you lying, telling 50 that we did anything? I have never been romantically, sexually, nothing with this man. Never kissed him, hugged him too hard. Is this man fucking crazy? This stud-looking ass boy is pissing me off. And then 50 think that just because he can go talk about, how do you, okay, let's talk about how you recognize weirdo niggas. One, I don't know you, right? But somehow you always got videos and pictures of me. I ain't know who this man was to my best friend in me, the one that called him, the one that called his dumb ass. She said, Rez, did you know that this dude Maserati Bud got you all over his page? I said, what you mean? She sent me his page. I go to his page. It's nothing but pictures of me. Pictures of me. Pictures, videos of me and her together. We don't even know that this dude is even around, bro. That's sad. That's sad. So this dude been clout chasing since he tried to tell the Geisha black girl, tried to fucking tell her that me and him was a thing. Back then. I checked him back then. So when I realized that his page got all this stuff about me on his page, I hit him and said, hey, yo, delete me off your page. Delete me off your page. It got too many pictures, too many videos, and it just look weird. Take me off your page, right? He all like, oh, it's going to mess up my 3 and 3. It's going to mess my pictures up. What? So now I got to go to my DMs because I'm really confused about, I know for a fact I told this dude, I'm not interested in you. I know for a fact.
When I seen it on his page. Oh my gosh, the way Clarissa says page kills me. When I seen I was on his page. Oh my gosh, Clarissa. Take it easy, girl.
Fact, so now I got to go to my... Now Clarissa got to turn into the bad guy. Here we go. This goofy. I'm going to take it back to where this shit start at. Boom. All right. I'm going to have to put my camera for this one. Because what? Is this boy dumb? Okay, Maserati. Take me off your page. You got this video. Whatever these pictures was, take them down. He took them down. It messed up my page. Everything is lined up by 3s. Okay. It's not that serious. You have your videos on my page and don't nobody film me and you together. All I ever did was show he begging to not get these pictures taken down. Excuse me, bud. I'm going to report it if you don't take it down. Make you 2 other posts and replace them. Take me off your page. You're gonna mess my page up. Whatever that fuck that means. Now you never said you had a boyfriend and you know it. I took it down. You know, I 100% told you I had someone. You didn't. You already confirmed it in our text. What if I get a boyfriend? What you gonna do? That's what you said. I said, I told you I was in love with him. Who is him? Pap, you idiot. So what are you talking about? You told me that, and that's why I went back and got with my girlfriend. So why you mad? I'm not mad. I don't give a shit about what you do. You hurt me first. Don't post me on your shit and you got your women. I'm happy for y'all. I kicked it with them on Christmas because you was with Pap, which is great. I spent time with you even though you crushed me. How can you crush someone with something I already told you? Bud, you got to stop. I was still crushed. You crushed your own feelings. You told me after the internet shit. You didn't want to accept the truth. The day after, before that, I had no clue. He said, I told you before when the internet stuff happened, you was just mad that it was him. I never told you who I was with. I just said someone. I don't care about him. In your brain, that meant no one. Of course you don't. In my brain, you're who I care about. Stalker. Till I see a ring, I don't care what you're talking about. This is me telling him, you slow as hell. I know how to treat a woman. Man, I told this nigga no means no, nigga. What the fuck else do you have to say? What else do you gotta say? No means no, nigga. And I'm getting treated beautiful over here. I'm happy y'all believe in fake text messages. I believe in me. I know how to play my position. There is no part to play. Another picture of me. Delete. I never played with you. And that's it. I get it. That's my role. You fucking up. I said I'm fucking up. You have to be stopped. Who do you think you are, bud? I'm a good man. I said, okay. You can't bring what I bring to the table. What do you bring to the table? All this stuff he say, blah, 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 trust, love, blah, 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 blah. Okay, but I don't need you to do that. Man, if somebody don't get this man off my motherfucking 50, your boy lied. Okay? And now 50, you're going to get sued for lying and telling everybody with your, now I'm finna go to 50 page with your big blockhead ass. I'm finna go to your page. 50. Now we gotta go to your page, 50. And I'm still not done with Bud ass, but hold on. I gotta go to your page, 50. You got to be dumb. You got to be dumb. You got to be dumb. Because if I have a recording of this bozo clearly saying that we never had anything sexual or we didn't do nothing or we didn't have sex, why are you still insinuating on your post that I had something going on with this boy sexually? Then, right now, it's 5 o'clock. It's 5 o'clock right now, or 5:30 where some of y'all at. Your blockhead ass said yesterday you had Ring camera footage and you had videos of me in the shower or whatever the fuck you said. Where is that? You don't get to insinuate stuff like that and then you don't have to stand on it. Where is that, 50? Where is that? Where is that? You're not finna put this stud looking fucking dude on me. No, you're not. And then you still making posts. You still making posts. The only bop is the ones that the bitches who you fuck with. That's why you don't got nobody, because everybody who you attract is a bop like you. Bumpy, 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 bumpy man. Yeah, let's talk about that. Bumpy man. I be trying to spare y'all celebrities, but some of y'all be so damn dumb. I don't even know what to say about y'all. Y'all be so stupid. I've already sent it to my lawyer. That's why he finna get it. That's why he finna get it. But you're not finna, first of all, girl, if it's a rap beef, right? If it's a rap beef, why didn't you get back in the booth and go at Pat? Why didn't you come back and diss him? Oh, I forgot. I forgot, 50. Because you can't rap for real. I'm finna play this on here. I don't even know if I should do the minute one or the 5 minutes. They both killed you. They both killed you. With your goofy ass. And hold on, I'm finna... So, now that we talking about... I'm about to get back on Bud ass. How do you recognize a weirdo nigga? Somebody you don't know coming around you 24/7 doing this. Yeah, you all in the back. He got his phone, flip the camera. Oh, yeah, look who I'm with. Yeah, look where I'm at. This man been doing that since the first day I met him. And I feel like I was targeted. This dude came up to me. I got the footage. This dude came up to me up at 50 Cent shit up in Shreveport where 50 blockhead ass flew me in at, paid for my room, called me on stage, performed his songs, shouting me out, holding my belt, all type of shit. This is where I met this weirdo at. So now that I've met this weirdo here, the first picture we ever take, I'm in all white. It's at the all white party that Blockhead threw. So he done threw this party. Let me see, where this shit at? Shit to me. September, December, October. Hold on, let me go back here. August. This is the picture of me in the bozo right here. Right? This is bozo, right? He made a caption on his page. And the damn caption said, yeah, I'm going to slide about this one right here. And it had a song talking about some, yeah, you know, I slide for you. You know, I ride for you. Whatever the fuck. And I said, okay, that's weird. He wrote and say, I appreciate the pic. Coach and Manu are family. I stay in Atlanta. Like I said, I'm spinning about you. I didn't even respond to him because I don't even know who you are. What do you mean you're going to spin about me and I don't know you? Don't spin shit. But here we go. As I continue to go down, this weirdo told me his name was Troy. Girl. Another dummy out of there. But this girl said his name was Troy. Anyway it goes. I don't know this man, but every time I leave an event from where I'm at, he's sending me videos and pictures of me there. I hosted a strip club party, which is open to the public. Duh. And after the strip club party, he like, hey, you don't remember me? I'm the guy that had got you the salmon. I said, what? So then I'm like, okay, yeah, we did have some food or whatever at the end because I was smoking hookah and I had me a little bit of drink. But he's sending me a video. He got a whole video. You don't see this?
Yeah, so that guy Maserati Bud, he seems like a straight goofy, to be honest with you guys. The secretly filming of Clarissa is just super goofy. But that's also why I hate when people mispronounce salmon. Is it salmon? I would say salmon. I would not pronounce the L. But all I'm saying is, that dude, yeah, I see buyers saying weird ass bullshit. I think we've all been around people like this in our days, in this generation with the iPhone. I know people who are kind of like this, where they like film and they like to show off who they're with, nonchalantly, or they think they're being nonchalant with it. But yeah, homie's like posting up content of Clarissa and she doesn't even know about it. Super goofy. And I think that 50 Cent sent this guy over. I think 50 Cent planted this guy to go do the rounds on Clarissa and get dirt for, a response to Papoose whenever the beef continued to escalate. Papoose drops the diss track and 50 drops, the cheating allegations. So, I mean, yeah. I don't really believe it. I kind of do believe Clarissa that she didn't get cracked. I kind of do believe her. And everybody's getting on 50. They're saying, like, bro, like, just respond in the booth. Get in that booth. You feel me? But they're like, nah, 50 can't rap like that. Like, 50 kind of industry plant. He attached his name to Eminem. Like, I've been listening to some of the lore, and it is kind of interesting to hear, Bro, I film everything. What, you got those meta glasses? Shout out to the metas. 50 got money like that? Exactly, buyer seller. He got money like that. 50 definitely got money for spies and all that kind of shit. I was also going to say, Tyler Betts says, why is she even doing a back and forth with him? And that's what I was saying, bro. She responding way too much. Actually, I was going to tell you guys that, like, how do I put this? She should have ghosted that dude at, like, the third or fourth message, but she responded to him so long. Bro, I've straight been ghosted by girls who actually fucked with me. I've straight been ghosted by girls who actually fucked with me over less. Girls who actually fucked with me, I've been ghosted by them over less. Okay, over less than that, I've been ghosted by them. So, like, for her to continue responding, that's the one damning evidence against Clarissa, is that she was continuing to respond to him. As far as that phone call, I don't know. That could have been on, like, IG. So it doesn't really insinuate that they got phone numbers exchanged. Them talking on the phone could easily be like a IG phone call. But yeah, I've straight been I just thought that was funny that I've been ghosted over a girl who by a girl who actually fucked with me. And it's like, if she can ghost me, then I think Clarissa should have ghosted this dude, you know. I think Clarissa should have ghosted that dude. Meat Rocket says, "Bro, I think she's lying." Okay. Well, yeah, what do you guys think? Is Clarissa lying or telling the truth? They call me Danny Phantom the way I've been ghosted. Shit. Call me Danny Phantom, buyer seller. Call me Danny Phantom. Tyler Bet says a real GF would ghost right away. Yeah, exactly, bro. Exactly. A real GF ain't entertaining all that bullshit. That's a fact. 50 Cent, NLE Choppa love the game, though. Bro, I think she's knew they couldn't tie me down. I got you, cupcakes. LOL. True, says Space Kid. Tyler Bet says they were low-key casually chatting in some of the texts. Yeah, I agree. I agree. I think there was one thing. Oh, this is what I didn't like. So they quit while they ahead. Yeah. That's, hey, Cupcake, same thing that happened to me. Same thing that happened to me. We can quote Max about that. Shit, them bitches, they be ghosting us because they're quitting while they're ahead. They know what's coming. To respond to Tyler Betts saying they were low-key chatting in some of the texts, I'll give you guys another piece of damning evidence against Clarissa. Is when Papoose, when Maserati Bud, what a fucking name. When Maserati Bud was like, or no, she said like, you don't even have anything to offer. Or I think she might have asked him, what do you have to offer? Because he went ahead and listed off all the things he had to offer her. And it was like emotional support and all this bullshit. But it's like, that was another weird one where I'm like, Clarissa, why the fuck are you asking him what he has to offer? Like, why would you ask him that? Like, the conversation's going way too far. But he did list off a whole paragraph of what he has to offer, and it had nothing to do with money. So she was like, yeah, I'm out of here. That's not what I meant. So, you know, that's what I would say. That's what I would say about this whole thing. Up to this point, you know? So I don't really think Clarissa cheated, but I think she entertained. That's what I'll say. Poll, Clarissa for the streets, question mark. We could run that poll. And that just basically means she cheated or didn't cheat. You feel me? Is Clarissa for the streets? Damn, the streets finna have a field day if she is. She cheated. Now let's say she didn't cheat first. Let's go she didn't cheat first. She cheated because she is denying it. So we'll give her the benefit of the doubt. Give her the first option. Check out that poll. That might be the best poll I've ever done. Is Clarissa for the streets? Question mark. You could vote she didn't. She cheated. It was supposed to be she didn't cheat. But whatever. You guys get the point. That's that Kush kicking in. Oh, yeah. I was also going to read Tuxedo Mask chat before I dipped out of here saying weirdo N-words. Thank you for the $2 chat, Mr. Tuxedo. Let's see what else you boys are saying. She cheated whether or not she got cracked. Oh. Dang, Bloodhound. See, you just not happy with the text messages whatsoever. You're like, that's too much. Way too much. Let me vote on this poll. What am I going to say? It's 50-50. 50-50. It's hard to say because women are great actors, not going to vote. Bro, I saw this clip on Instagram today of Clavicular getting this girl to cheat on her boyfriend. and they had a side-by-side of her and her boyfriend at prom. And on the stream, she's like, I don't want to be in the stream. I don't want to be in the stream. It's not going to be on Instagram, right? And Clavicular fucked her, bro. He didn't crack her, but he like, you know, he did her dirty. That's all over social media. Whether or not he cracked her, I have no clue. Buyer Seller says, I seen that too. Yeah, that was a diabolical video. Shit, someone go check on that young buck. Hope he's doing all right. Homie, just get yourself in the gym. Get to work, homie. I'll see you at 24. Talking to that girl's boyfriend. I'll see you at 24, homie. Meat Rocket, I gotta go. Good night, bro. Peace out, Meat Rocket. Good night, homie. Papoose need to smash Alicia Bumgarner and make a diss track on the GWOAT. Hey, he did kind of cook 50 though. He did kind of cook 50. I was listening to the diss track. He had some bars. I wanted to hate on the bars. Actually, I couldn't. They're actually pretty good. All right, but I'm gonna dip out of here, boys. So I will see all you boys. I'll see all you boys tomorrow. Space Kid says, man, it's so sad. Shit, these bitches, man. That I was actually thinking about this today. How do you put this? It's kind of like some guys really want a bad bitch, right? But then you know, it gets you in trouble because sometimes they have too many options. And obviously the whole cheating thing, the more options they have, maybe the more provocative they dress, right? The more opportunities they will have to cheat. Let's just put it like that. Okay. So then, you know, you go with like modest girl, less good looking. Which one would you prefer? You know, with all that being said, because obviously modest girl, less good looking, you know, there's a lot of trouble you don't have to go through with that. And she could still be pretty good looking. But I think a lot of guys want the girl who's like, you know, in the skirt with the BBL and the high heels. And it's like, shit, the same thing that attracted you to her, that could be your demise. You know, a lot of guys don't find the modest girls sexy. So I'll leave you with that. We're not going to do a poll about that, but I was thinking about that today. Okay. The poll is 62% that she cheated. So I guess she cheated. All right, boys. I'm going to peace out. Let me shout out the streets real quick. But I'm also getting faded. The kush is kicking in. All right, let me read these chats out. Shout out to Useless. Shout out to Space Kid. Shout out to Tyler Betts. Shout out to Buyer Seller. Shout out to Meat Rocket. Shout out to Bloodhound Lil Jeff. Shout out to Cupcake. Shout out to Yuri Retarded. Shout out to Tuxedo Mask again for the donos, homie. AI2A, shout out, homie. America First, shout out. Him, shout out. AD Kid, I think, was in here. HT, shout out. Jew, shout out. Andrew Nance, shout out, homie. Oh my gosh. Wheelchair Richie, shout out. Brian C, shout out, homie. Space Kid, if I didn't mention that one already. All right. Tyler Betts, shout out to Tyler Betts. I'm so faded, though. I think I already said Tyler Betts. All right, let me see. Aaron Roberts, shout out. Nico Bellic, shout out. Franklin, shout out. Soda Pop, shout out. 93 Octane, shout out. Or no, I already said Franklin. Mike Co, Perfecto, all the boys, shout out. I will see all you boys tomorrow. All right, peace out, boys.